Oh, okay. Mandem, welcome back to the Project Prem. I'm your boy KLS. I'm joined by Jams, Sam, Omeezy. And Mandem, this is a sad day. Obviously, we're not joined by Trimless. Condolences to him. And Mandem, this is the last episode of the Project Prem Season 1 until next season. But Mandem, what we're going to do in the spare month, bro, we got loads of content out. Before we start anything, if you want professional beats, mixing and mastering, make sure to check out beiji.co.uk. Link in the description. Use code TRIMIT off 10% off. Oh, I didn't start. That's crazy. If you like curry and it's your favorite food and you're in the Black Country in Kingswinford, make sure to check out the ChilledCurryCompany. Link is also in the description. Bro, I clean that. Mandem, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the biggest standpoint. The Champions League final. Now, obviously, there's many aspects to it. There's a lot to talk about. I mean, we'll pre some stats up real quick. In my opinion, I think this is the worst Champions League I've watched as a human. We're looking at 24.7% possession, 0.5 expected. I mean, if you actually want my final verdicts, yeah, on the game, look, I'll give you my verdict, yeah. I'm sorry, the better team won. Unfortunately, the better team won. Kvaratskhelia didn't even look decent. Dembele was like in and out. Doué tried. I think the best player on the pitch was João Neves. But I mean, I want to dive in on. Obviously, we'll ask Jams as well, and we'll get everyone else's input. But I don't understand how you're in a Champions League final, right? And then Arteta goes, right, we've scored 5 minutes in. Let's sit back. Let's sit back. Do you know what I'm hearing?
I'm scared.
Arsenal fans, I'm not joking. Arsenal fans saying, but we dominated on the fullback. They're saying they're dominated, tracking players, PSG players, coming to them and marking them. And they're saying they dominated it. Man, them. But of course, we can't be too sad. Football's been saved. Football's been saved for another season, man. Damn. Jams, talk to me. Give your analysis.
I don't know where to start. I literally don't know where to start. It's just been like a It's just been one of them where it's like fucking roller coaster, one thing after another. And then defending wise, Mascara is getting fucking rattled anyway. I can see why the possession was with PSG all this time, because they were just exploiting that right section. The defending from Arsenal wasn't really that great. I don't know why people were saying that we were dominating. In my eyes, it wasn't really that great. It looked like it was literally a playground. It's like a playground, should I say? Basically, like a playground. Like PSG, of course, a top team. It was going to be a struggle at the start of it anyway. For us to be 1-0 up and then Mascara literally flopping it up for us to then be 1-1, it has been literally like a madness in my eyes. They should have just kept it 1-0. Mascara shouldn't have literally dived in like he did to then literally make it 1-1. It should have just been 1-0 and then Arsenal would have won it. But obviously, of course, there's going to be a slip-up somewhere. There's always going to be a slip-up with Arsenal. Let's just do that. I don't know why, but it just pisses me off when everything literally goes. When one thing literally goes our way, there's always something that has to be just dripped up. And for that one, it was Mascara that did it. That did the flop up. And then the miss from Eze, I don't know why he was doing the exact run-up as Doué. And then big man Gabriel, meant to be the savior, next minute boots the ball over like a freaking rugby pitch. Like, why?
You can never find it.
No, don't fix it.
No, I have a clip. We have found it. It was in the Arsenal parade.
No way did it do that.
I found it.
Yes, that's taking a piss.
I found it.
That kind of travelled to the next day for the parade. That cannot do that. That's the
To a different place.
Can I ask you, Jams? Does this make you confident with Arteta?
I'm sorry, someone's talking to me. I can't hear. I've got no audio. One sec.
All right, no problem.
But no, yeah, Jams, talk to me.
Yeah,
Does this
thanks,
make you
Josh.
confident in not? Yeah. Could have kept that to himself.
What the heck? Am I not here?
Jams, talk to me. Does this make you confident in Arteta? Because I'm sat looking at it going, this is the biggest opportunity
Yeah,
you've got to become champion of Europe. And he's done, and he's made you play that sort of way. Does this make you confident?
Sort of, in a way. I feel like if he still literally proves that he can actually still be the top manager, as he says, as the whole season has been, and he's got manager of the season. If he's got that manager of the season, he best prove it again next season, and he best literally turn it up, because if he doesn't turn it up, it's gonna give me the sign of he needs to literally go. If he doesn't do well,
I reckon your set piece coach could have got manager of the season.
I'm going to give him 3 games. I'm going to give him 3 games when it comes to the new season.
What? He's just won the Prem.
3 games.
I'm still going to give him 3 games. I go by that rule by myself, literally. I do it with everything. I give 3 chances.
You know what? Yeah, as much as we clown Arteta, yeah, he's no on slot. What do you mean 3 games? Bro,
You gotta give him the season. You gotta give him the season
again.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Won you the Premier League?
He just won you a Prem.
I know he just won me a Premier, but I wanted a Champions League.
This is the problem, though. This is the problem, yeah. You man don't actually appreciate and be humble when you do something. You think, oh, well, we could have got better, or we could have done this. You've just won a Prem. You should really appreciate that.
Yeah,
and try to build off that. Next season, build off that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's still like it goes by. Okay, if he's going to bring more players in, he's got to have to look at the right players. Like, I hear sources that he might be going for Barcola, or he might be going for Morgan Rogers.
To be fair, I don't think they're the type of players you need.
Yeah,
that's
what I mean. What you want is like Voltamada for corners and that.
Yeah,
Voltamada type.
Yeah, set pieces, bro. That's your thing.
We got Havertz for it. That's that.
But it doesn't matter though. You won a Premier League, yeah. That's what you man are saying. You man are saying, no, it don't matter how we won it. We won it.
Yeah, but it still comes in with that fight now. Literally, he needs to, like, depending on the players that he brings in next, I'm gonna literally see that he's gonna have to literally up his game. If he doesn't up his game, then it's gonna be like a wash.
Do you know what? I'd argue. I think it's the complete opposite, bro. If you've won the league with that attack, imagine if you buy a decent left wing and a striker.
Yeah, that's what we need him. That's literally the more chance that we need. That's why that's why he's saying that he might be Barkley that might go inside there. It might be Rodgers again. He might be going there, or he might. I don't know who else potentially could go there. But he's been looking at players anyway, and just depending on where he goes, I want to see where he goes with it.
Sam, talk to me. Champions League final.
I'll be so honest. I was asleep, you know.
What, during the match?
Yeah. I didn't even turn it on. I just thought PSG are going to win. I knew PSG were going to win, so I didn't watch it. I won't be bothered. And to be fair, I probably saved myself some drama because it was a dead game.
Did you even look at the highlights?
Sam, you're kidding me, bro.
The highlights?
Yeah, did you even look at the highlights?
Would have been a short show, brother. would have been what? 10 penalties and 2 goals, yeah. YouTube didn't even need an advert for that one.
Oh wow.
Even the celebrations were shit, man.
I'm dead.
Oh god.
No, as much as I was going to watch it, I did fall asleep. But I can't lie, it's been a madness. But obviously, PSG won the game. Arsenal, from what I did see on the highlights, yes, I did watch the highlights. But from what I did see on the highlights, Arsenal for me got that goal, and for some reason, just decided that they were going to sit in for the next 85 minutes, which against teams like Burnley and that, yeah, you probably can do that where they're not going to punish you. But against PSG, they're a very creative team. You're not going to keep them at bay for 85 minutes. Doesn't matter. And okay, the goal came from a penalty, which was a mistake. But I look at it and I go, well, Mosquera probably wasn't the right player to play.
No,
You know,
that's what I was thinking.
you know, you had
Was
Timber.
Timber available?
You had Timber available. Timber's on the bench. Even if you'd have started with him, it's a different story. And you kind of, I know we made a joke with Big C about it, where he was saying, you know, I'd take Timber at 30% over Ben White and blah blah. But I think to myself, your bigger players have to play in the biggest games, and they've got to just push their body to get over the line, because, you know, the biggest game you man are going to have this year. It doesn't, you know, you've won a Prem, okay, fair, but you ask 95% of the fan base, they would have preferred to have not won the Prem and won the Champions League.
Yeah, I think the whole fan base would have.
That's what I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
You know, you're always going to have a minority that think, oh, well, actually, I'd rather win the Prem or whatever. But I think your man's biggest thing is the fact that you haven't won a European trophy.
Champions of Europe, you'll never
You know-
say that.
But this is the thing. There's no better opportunity to go and win one than when you're in a final. That is, you know, as stupid as that sounds, that's the truth. So
Wait, sir.
to start with,
What
what
time will you
you,
be on there till?
Josh, is that your Marge?
Bro, come
What's-
prepared.
Can we mute him? What's going
He's
on?
muted himself. He's muted himself anyway. So
But no, what I'm saying is, like, you've played players that are probably not up to speed or that haven't actually played as many minutes. And I think that was a big problem. I don't think you comfortably won the title, and I'll be honest with that. And I think in certain games where you had to bring in players that hadn't played many minutes, the likes of Ben White, the likes of, you know, Calafiori had some games where he wasn't at it at all. Odegaard, you know, Eze, they're all players that I think work off confidence and playing every game for their team. They think they should be starting every game for the team. And obviously at a certain level, you all think you should be starting for your team. But I think you're playing players that aren't warmed in that way. And that's the problem. You've then took them into a game against a group of individuals that have played and rotated well all year in their own league. And you've kind of got to the end of the season, and I think your whole team has been pretty fatigued. Not in the way that you're all injured or you know what I mean, but I just think to myself, that has to go down as a mistake by Arteta. As much as, yes, he's won you a title,
For the cup final.
I don't think he's a top level manager. I really don't. I think genuinely, if you'd have replaced your set piece coach with anybody else in the business, I don't think you win the title this year. And that's me being truthfully honest, because I don't think Arteta has what it takes to take you to that next level, that upper echelon of football. You know, being
Yeah, because if you
being
think
a-
about it, they have been relying on set pieces.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I said.
Very,
mate.
very, very reliant.
No, but that's what I
they
said.
like
If
the
you
way they
didn't
play,
have-
they set up four set pieces. They're slowing the game down. They're trying to get throw-ins, your free kicks, corners. You know what I'm saying? They thrive on that. You're not really seeing like
football.
you've bought a £60 million striker. You got a star boy, and then you got other wingers that you've invested on, and including Eze. You know what I mean? So, and then obviously Rice gets forward sometimes. So that's a lot of firepower, and to rely on negative tactics. Yes,
mad.
it is negative tactics, because all you're doing
You're
is
right.
you're like in a
Anti-football.
final, you're only getting one goal and then you're sitting back for the whole game.
We have to be
There's
honest.
no
though.
intent, and even if you do sit back, counter attack. You didn't in that game. You did not see one spell where Arsenal held the ball for even 5 minutes and try and like unlock
No, there was that time
PSG's
that
back.
Declan Rice was trying to hold it in for a throw. He had it for a good chunk.
Brother, there was a point where it was a throw in and bro,
Three people
swapped
took the
three
ball, Jim.
manji.
Yeah, I know.
Can I show you? Can I show you some statistics I got?
You can, but
this is after the game.
what I would say as well, yeah, we've got to stop calling Saka Starboy because he's a 25-year-old man. This is ridiculous. Yeah, it's got to stop. We can't keep doing this. It's got to end. He can't be 35 years old and you man are going, yeah, I got my Starboy. Like, it can't work. Do you know what I mean?
My young'un.
You know what I mean? He's getting that Jesse Lingard.
This is bad for him, you know. He's been in 5 European finals and he's not won a single one, bro. Or 5 finals in general. He's not won a single one. And he's started in like
everyone.
I'm glad you've just said that because this is.
And it's not even just like I mean it's easy to say he's not won a single one, but when you're starting every game and you're meant to be the guy and you're the image and you look at the performances in each final and you're thinking
you're not showcasing it.
What's going on here?
And
where's all this praise and all this praise, all this bigging up, all this pedestal that fans have put you in and turning up like that in big moments. Like fair enough, he's turned up Real Madrid to take them into take Arsenal into the semis, whatever. But you ain't won it. It's only to take you to the next stage. There's a difference in that, you know what I mean? And then coming out with bullshit, and I'm only saying that in a nice way. Coming out with bullshit, saying you know who we want. Like, come on, bro. If it went the other way, would you have turned up? If Bayern went in the final, would you have turned up, or would you have done the same stinking performance? All he did was play right wing back.
Can I ask?
But then again, I don't blame. You can't put too much blame on him on that because of Arteta's, style or whatever. But at the same time, bro, you're an attacker, bro. Are you telling me you're not bored of defending?
Yeah. Surely, if you're Starboy, there's a part of you that goes, right, let me take this game.
It's not even just him, it's other players as well, like your Rices. You know what I'm saying? Like are you not just bored of just sitting back? Yeah, like, are you just not bored of just sitting back in a big stage as well?
Declan Rice loves a 5-yard sideways pass, bro. This is his element. Arteta's his dad. He's in the team because Arteta's his dad.
Oh, that's dark. I want to ask, because this is like the 6th final he's been in and he's done fuck all. Look, I get started. Look, you can laugh, but I mean, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Surely, and I wrote this down and I think this is great. Does Saka need replacing? Because it's all right going, but Saka, how good Saka, fucking great. If you want to go to that next level, I'm sorry, you need someone that's going to turn up to that next level. You need someone that's going to drive you. I'm sorry, but there were not, apart from Gabriel, who obviously skied it like a clan, and then Declan Rice, who, in my opinion, Declan Rice, I think, has been a bit overlocked in that game. I think people are going, I'll go with Declan Rice. I think it was okay. I don't think it was that great. Apart from that, dude,
defensively, every single Arsenal player should be proud of themselves. Defensively, like that man did everything to a T. But other than that,
it's all right when you played. It's all right when you played 8 at the back, Funds.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to win the game?
You're not. That's why they didn't. I don't know what you want me to say.
You're like watching Amrin, bro. I swear down.
Surely there's an argument that.
But it's like watching Sean Dyche at Burnley, bro.
Oh God.
You know what I mean? Ping the ball into the channel. Ping the ball into the channel, and we'll play up to the striker. If he can control it, he can control it. If not, we'll just
go. If you're gonna do the Stoke thing, Stoke do long ball.
I know.
To be fair, imagine trying to do that with Gyökeres up front. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
it's just teams in red and white, bro. That's how they want to play.
Yeah. Do you know what? Watching Havertz in the Champions League final versus Gyökeres. I'm sorry, but it's day and night. Gyökeres, he sticks out like a sore thumb. I don't give a shit. He scored 22 goals.
No, he came. I'm not gonna lie. He came on and he looked lost.
Yeah, like big time.
I'm not gonna lie. He did look lost. He did. From my point of view, he did look like he didn't know. He didn't even know where he was at.
Yeah, he didn't know.
He didn't know what time it was. To be honest,
he didn't know where it was.
But surely it's a good enough argument to sit and say, well, if we do want to go to this next level, surely we need to replace the things. Well, the people. We need to replace the people that aren't actually cutting it for us.
Okay,
Saka,
but then you've got to replace the whole fucking front. You've got to replace Gyökeres. You've got to replace Saka. You've got to replace Trossard. You've got to replace Martinelli. You've got to replace Madueke. You've got to replace Odegaard. Do you know, like, how
They're
many
not going to
players do you
replace
think?
all of them. They're not. They're not. They're
No,
not.
no,
Maybe
they're
one or
obviously
two.
not. But this is what I'm saying.
Hold on. What do you mean replace all of them man up the top already? Like, hold on, calm.
No, they're not going to replace them.
No,
He's
they're
going
not
to
gonna
keep all
they're
of
not
them.
gonna
None
replace
none of hardly any of them will want to leave, bro. I'll be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
again, that doesn't that means that Arsenal are going to suffer.
Well, the thing is, the issue
I'm not
is
complaining.
with the issue with this is
Me neither.
Arteta in it. He's got his favourites, and all them players that you said is correct. They should leave because they're not going to get anywhere with Arteta, and Arteta's not going to get anywhere with them in the squad. But the issue is because they're his favourites and how they've won the league this season. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not.
You know, for me though, Funds, yeah, right. You will have seen this for many years. When Man United were winning things, yeah, Ferguson didn't go, oh well, I've won it, so I can just keep what I've got.
Yeah.
Ferguson always added to it. He won a league, then he thought, do you know what? I'm going to go and get Berbatov. I'm going to go and buy Carrick. I'm going to go and put jigsaw pieces in places of where I've had to glue it down. I'm going to put people in now. You know,
Yeah.
won the
No,
league,
but
then he went and bought
the
Van
problem is
Persie.
Arteta ain't that guy.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. The issue for me is Arteta, because yes, the players are an issue, but they can only be coached and do what Arteta is asking them to do.
Yeah.
However, if Arsenal truly want to be, like I said, at that upper echelon and challenging and competing every year for Champions League finals and winning leagues, they've got to replace these players with ones that actually fit the puzzle.
Mm.
And they've got to stop relying on set pieces, because they're going to make a change of, well, actually, with VAR in corners like they have done. We're going to VAR this. When people are being fouled, they're going to start doing it off the ball for decisions now instead of just while the ball's in play. So all of these things are going to make a difference to Arsenal's season next year if they don't learn how to actually play football.
Problem with that is what plays into that is fans when they say look, we used to play good football and it didn't get us nowhere. We've played terroristic football this year and it's got us the big one. But see, with the issue with that is like you're not gonna get away with it.
It's not going to work in Europe, and people are going to get wise to it.
You got to balance it.
100%.
Or if you're gonna die on one hill, you got to at least have like something to back it.
There's no chance that they go next season and have a season like this one.
They can't do it again. I'm sorry, it's not possible. It's not possible.
But I'll be honest with you. Yeah, Arsenal have finished second several times on more points than what they won the league with this year.
Yeah.
That tells you the state of the league. The reason that they won the league this year, and by the way, it wasn't comfy. They struggled to win the league in probably the worst title challenge that we've seen.
Yeah, there's about
Man City was shit.
About 3-4
no, that's what I'm saying. Man City was shit, so there wasn't a title challenge really. But Man City still pressured them, even though they were shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And do you know what as well? Do you know what doesn't help? I bet the Man City players know Bernardo was leaving, Stones were leaving, Pep's leaving months ago. I bet
no, they didn't. They didn't. So Pep, they only found out Pep was leaving, I think, the game after Everton, because Pep had told everyone in an interview that he was staying, and then somebody leaked it from Man City that he was leaving, and then all the players got told before the game at Aston Villa. So they were probably thinking, well, we don't really give a shit. Who cares? He's going. We just need to impress the next manager. Obviously, Bernardo Silva's then done a U-turn anyway and said, well, I might stay. I'll make my decision after the World Cup. And obviously, again, you look at it and go, but the thing is it shouldn't matter what manager Man City bring in, because you should be able to get that team playing. Cherky, Doku, Haaland,
Yeah,
if
there's
Bernardo
Bergamo
Silva
now,
stays,
so
if Rodri
Semenyo.
stays, Semenyo, Nico Gonzalez, they've got absolute of billions of pounds worth
even
of players.
Donnarumma. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. They've got Donnarumma and Trafford, who are two class goalkeepers, by the way. They signed one to be the number one, and then Donnarumma became available, so they signed two number ones in one window.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
They can just go and open the checkbook and say, "Oh, well, we'll buy you, we'll sell you a little bit, we'll sell you a little bit." Do you know what I mean? I look at it and I go, I don't think the Premier League is going to be the same as it was this year, next year. I think that, I think Man United will push. I don't think they'll do it, but I think they'll push. I think Arsenal will actually falter, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Spurs fan. I just think I don't see how they go and play the same type of football they did this year next year, because teams are going to be wiser to it. They're going
Yeah.
they're going to analyze it and defend it. They do this all the time. Look, when Rory Delap started doing long throws, yeah, people then started to analyze it and started to do things a bit differently. The goalkeeper started 2 or 3 yards higher. They will start to do different things to counteract what happens. That's football. You've got to learn a way around it.
Do you know what I also think? I think because they're like, obviously we weren't bullshit. There was actual hunger in Arsenal, like, to get over that. We're seeing how the fans are, like the players are. I mean, it's a bit embarrassing, but we're seeing how the players are winning the title now. Surely there's a bit of them that goes, well, we've won it now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
I feel like that's their mentality.
I just look at it and I just think to myself, like, are they actually going to, like, even this year where they were having to get over the line, really, they relied on other teams to get them over the line. They relied on Everton to get them over the line. They relied on, that West Ham result. They were struggling against West Ham. Who, again, West Ham ended up being relegated. If they'd have then not got that result at West Ham due to the decision, whether you think it's right, wrong, or indifferent, that decision easily could have gone the other way, and the relevance stays. If Everton perform against Man City like they performed against us, Man City probably mop the floor with them. Then they're closer, or it becomes a goal difference thing. I just think to myself, like, you're not gonna. I don't think it's going to be a season as bad next year as this one was. I just don't.
Especially if Iriola going to.
In my opinion, I think it's impossible to be as bad as this season.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
there's new managers. There's going to be new. They're going to be bringing their ideas in, and then they're going to want players, and then obviously teams coming up, and then the teams that are staying from last season, they're going to obviously analyze last season, analyze teams like you just said, Sam. So it's going to be impossible.
I must say as well, it's going to be tricky for Arteta as well, because there's so new managers in that have come from elsewhere, like Carrick. Like, I'm sure we can pray and hope he doesn't do what he did this season into next season with, like, pass around the back, counter attack. I hope there's actually something there. We all know my thoughts, but like, we got Iriola coming into a Liverpool squad where, let's be honest, man, Liverpool, they'll chuck money at Iriola and he'll go spend it on whoever. He has an opportunity now. You've got Xavi, you've got Maresca. I don't think Arteta's going to have enough time to fully understand how these managers are going to work under their new circumstances. It's going to be a lot trickier.
Even De Zerbi, though, he's had to play a certain style to get results to keep us in the league. But I genuinely think that, like you said, exactly that. These new managers that have come into new teams, and not even that they're coming into new teams, that they've done what's needed to do for their teams. Carrick's assignment was get Champions League football. That's what he's done. Now it's how can he build on it. De Zerbi's assignment, keep Spurs in the league, then we build for next year. All of these things are going to be different, or hopefully will be different. Obviously, again, you guys are going, well, Carrick's done a decent job. We probably have to give him a chance. but there are options out there. You know, for Tottenham, De Zerbi's done what he needed to do. Now we've actually got to back him. We've got to make things different. We've got to go and sign players that will take us back to where we feel we should be. You know, Arsenal have got to go and sign players that are going to make them a better footballing outfit.
Yeah.
Because if plan A of set pieces and slowing down the game and slowing down time doesn't work, plan B really falters.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen them struggle against West Ham. You've seen them struggle against Sunderland in the year. You've seen them struggle against Burnley. Like, you've seen them... They didn't beat Wolves. Do you know what I mean? Like, they I think, drew both games. So,
No,
these
the
are all
first one
teams...
where they won by 2 own goals against them. And then
Oh,
they
okay.
drew.
But they struggled. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You know, the teams that open up against them, you know, the Man Cities, the Tottenhams, they probably are better against because there's more space. But the teams that sit in, the creativity just hasn't been there. And okay, they found a way around it with set pieces, but again, teams are going to start getting wise to it. I saw a stat that said how many points did Arsenal finish on? Because somebody tell me. It was
It was
80
like
something.
80, 85 or something.
Is it 87?
85, right? I think it might have been 87, but
85.
85. I saw a stat that took them 85, 7 points less if they didn't score from set pieces, which would have put them below how Man City finished, even if Man City lost the last 2 games in what they did, or drew 1 and lost 1. So that was their main outlet. That was their plan A. Slow the game down, nick a goal and sit in. That isn't going to run against better, you know, against teams that are going to be better. Carrick worked that out and they played. Okay, he scored 2 wonder goals, but that's what it is.
Well,
I
we
just think
played
to
round
myself,
them though. Okay, no.
no, but what I'm saying is, no, that's what I said.
Going on like we pulled out of hat or something. Yo,
I
I wasn't doing
doing
that. I wasn't doing that. Don't start. I said Carrick worked out a different way to do it and scored 2. Don't start. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, I can't remember what I was trying to say. The point I'm trying to make is Arsenal are probably the team in the league that has to do the most now. And the reason for that is because the expectation the expectation is going to be massive on them because your fans have again talked up so much nonsense, going, yeah, we're the best team in the world, best defense in the world, we're here. Now you're going to have to go and showcase it because next season, if you don't replicate,
I think they've already failed at it, bro.
No, but this is what I'm trying to say. If you don't replicate,
PSG much.
If you don't replicate or better the season you've had, you're automatically back to being fucking dicks. Do you know what I mean? Because your fans have spoke absolute rubbish. And you, Jams, you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying you specifically, but the majority of your fans, look at all the other boys that aren't on the pod right now, yeah? All the other Arsenal fans. They've been talking lots. They've been talking lots. Can't see them. They've been talking lots. They
Deservedly so because they're champions.
They lose one final, bro, and they're back down in the cage. Do you know what I mean? They're back down in the basement, bro, like Cinderella. It's mad.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal were, I think Tottenham were first and Arsenal were second in set pieces.
That's where Man United was second in set pieces. Bro,
I think Tottenham had 19. I think Arsenal had 18, and I'm not sure what Man United had, but I think it was Tottenham and Arsenal that were at the top of the list.
Man,
but Tottenham are shit. So
we're gonna move on. We're gonna stick on Arsenal. We're gonna talk about the parade. But before we do, I do want to do some business. One of my friends is selling a pencil case, an Arsenal one, unfortunately. The only issue is there's 2 pens missing. Naturally,
trying to do some business.
So yeah, there's an Arsenal pencil case with 2 pens missing from the Champions League final. Man, let's talk about it.
Go fuck yourself.
Yo, Gabriel looked at that panel, by the way. That's crazy.
Yes, he did.
That's crazy.
No, he did not. I did not.
Yo, man, look at it properly, bro. Look at the panel properly, bro. Bro, he did not look at the ball. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yo, slow-mo it as well. He didn't even look at the ball.
0.5.
Bro.
That's the
Well,
problem.
I seen a meme of it in it. I thought it was AI. Look, the
It
picture
is,
was
yeah.
AI.
Because
Innit?
as he goes to
The
kick
picture
it,
was
it's there,
AI.
innit?
So then I decided, no, let me look at the penalty again, and he genuinely didn't look at the ball. Not like you can see it, but
Thing is,
yeah.
you Arsenal fans this year, and again, I don't talk about all of you, but generalistically, a lot of you have put your whole team on a pedestal this year. But you haven't been you haven't been the best footballing side.
No,
So I don't understand
being
how
the best defensively structured side. Yes.
at times, yes, but in other games they've struggled and relied on decisions to get them over the line, or relied on plan A. You
Can't
know,
really say at times because they're champions, innit? You know what I mean? But
no, but
I hear what you're
it
saying,
doesn't.
though.
Again, I think if you were to go back and look over the history of the Premier League, this is probably one of the lowest
Yeah,
title winning points amounts.
yeah.
And that goes to show just how bad the state of the Premier League is. You know, so for me, it's techie. You know, I look at it and I think it's got to be better next year all round. And again, just talking about the final still, the referee has actually been praised so much for the way that he ref the game that I saw the other day that somebody was saying that the standard of European or Euro officiating, UEFA's officiating, they need to come and teach the PG Mol or give them some coaching or whatever, however you want to word it. I can't remember how it's worded, but imagine that UEFA starts to take an interest in how the officiating is done in England. Things will be very, very different next season.
Yep, I agree.
You know, and to get praise in one game for booking the Arsenal manager for coming out of his technical area, for booking the Arsenal captain for dissent, for shouting out time wasting and making sure they're not doing it. All of these things that they were allowed to do in the Premier League, you know, if they'd have had this level of officiating every game, I think we see a different title outcome. I really do.
I think so. Man, let's nearly 40 minutes in. Let's quickly talk about the parade. I know Sam's got a couple of comments, but look, man, I've caught a couple of man out. So obviously, obviously, Trimless went, Surfer went, Callum went. I'm not too sure who else went to the parade, but
Sky went.
Big C told us he wasn't at the parade. Well, I went undercover. I was there, and I've got footage of them at the parade actually. So,
Yo, I knew that was cool, you know.
so I saw him. He lied. He lied. Mandem, let's talk about the parade. Obviously, Metropolitan Police said there was 1.5 million people. If that's 1.5 million people, I'm not.
Listen to me. Stop there.
That's crap.
Stop there. Listen to me. Metropolitan Police didn't put any statement out other than to tell people that they had arrested X amount of people for stabbing, sexual assault, and all of the other issues.
Is that what Arsenal fans are on? Yeah.
Listen to me. I put it in the chat. All of the truth came out in the chat. I went and did the research. Yeah, I went and checked. Listen to me. Our fearless leader of the pod, Trimless, shared 1.5 million on the Instagram story. Yeah. The post, listen to me. The post was done by Mixtape Madness. Am I a prick? Yeah. Mixtape Madness is telling me how many people was at Arsenal's parade. Don't piss man off. Metropolitan Police did not put any statement out about how many people were at the parade. There has been several other things that have said, "Oh, this is an estimate of how many people have been there or was there." There's been numerous AI photos.
Sexual assaults on parades.
Yeah, bro. There was, bro. Genuinely, that's the genuine truth. There was plenty of people that were arrested. They then had to do a Section 60, which is like a dispersal order, because none of them could behave themselves. They're meant to be there celebrating a trophy that they've won, and they're more interested in scrapping each other. That's how bad the fan base is.
Yeah.
Half of listen, you've got as whether you like him or you don't, he's a loyal fan. Yeah. You've got troops coming out and saying half the man that have turned up to the parade aren't even Arsenal fans. They're here for glory, they're tourists. He put it out in a tweet. Like, all of this is information that is factual from people that were there. I've got so many of people that I know and friends have been there. I've seen the Snapchat stories, I've seen everything. Yeah. They've got all these AI photos around the stadium. Nobody was around the stadium because the stadium was closed. So you've got all these people lined up around the stadium. You're lying. It's a lie. Twitter's got that thing underneath it with going, we have to provide context of this photo. It is fake. Or this is a lie. This is not true. You know, these are all the things that you look at. And they all talk about Google. Google is coded so that if 25 people went onto Google and said eggs are green, the top searches would be so-and-so said eggs are green. So, of course, if somebody then goes, oh, it's 1.5 million, there wasn't 1.5 million. You know there wasn't. You're telling me, yeah, that nearly over a tenth of the London population turned up to there. No.
It wouldn't be actually possible. I know that.
I was gonna say,
Because-
do people actually know how many 1.5 million people is? Like, that's like Norwich.
Yeah, and yeah, the fact how you got people literally who are literally now saying that they're Arsenal supporters is literally like kind of.
Oh, dude.
Just me,
Oh,
I've never
genuinely,
seen them
Champs,
when
I
you
mean this with no
ban that
disrespect, yeah.
fan. What's
Yeah.
I
going
mean this
on?
with no disrespect. I've never seen so many Arsenal shirts up until this point.
Nah, I've
Yeah.
never
Do you know what?
I'll
Do you know
be
what
honest
this
with you.
reminds me of?
I see more people out in Tottenham shirts than I do in Arsenal shirts. I live in Nottingham. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tottenham is shit, by the way, so that's calm. But I see more people out in Tottenham shirts than I do in Arsenal shirts. Now people are going, oh, we've won something. I'm going to get the shirt back out. The shirt's 20 years old. They haven't bought a new one since.
Yeah. It
I'm
reminds me of
looking
when
at man.
Klopp
I'm looking at
first
man
won
in
the league.
gold tops. You haven't more gold since Thierry was there. Pre the game he came back for Sunderland.
Oh.
Like, it's mad.
I can remember that day. Yeah.
Facts. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I probably know more about Arsenal's history than some of these Arsenal fans, G.
Yeah. Honestly,
It's
do you know
mad
what?
city.
The day they won the league, I've never seen so much batter on an Instagram story in an Arsenal shirt. Man, them absolute facade. It's funny. Do you know what's ironic? Yeah, a couple of these told me they don't even like football, but they've won the league. Fucking Arsenal through and through. Shut up, Rev.
Got
Yeah, yeah,
man
none of it.
kissing the badge on Instagram. Like, are you all
Yeah.
right?
I mean, you've got Mandem grinding on each other at the Arsenal parade. I
Yeah,
mean,
techie that. I mean,
big
that's
city,
what Callum and
similar.
Surf do on a daily basis, but
The
that's
man-
just
the man-
techie in
The
general.
man don't know what them man. They're not used to winning it. You know what I mean? They're not used to seeing their club winning.
It's cute.
things.
It's cute.
Like they grew
No,
up
but do
not
you know, for me-
seeing much in it.
Do you know,
so-
for me, yeah, right? You know, okay, I'm a Tottenham fan, and I don't like Arsenal and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's a rivalry, but football for me is deep, but is never that deep. I'm never going to go and scrap you just because you support another team or anything like that. But for me, I would respect Arsenal as a club, as a fan base, as a team, as whatever you want to call them, a hell of a lot more if they were just honest.
Yeah.
I've sat on this pod several times this year, right, when I can make it, and I've been extremely honest about my club being shit, not being good enough, the reasons as to why I think it is, which, you know, I do believe that decisions officiating again is a big one. The management, the club, from the top down. I've said it on every pod I've been on. I couldn't have been more truthful. But I see Arsenal man that are coming out and saying, "Yeah, we're the best team in the world. We're the best this in the world." And
Yeah.
I look at it and I go, "But you're not. There's no way you actually think that. You're just saying that to say it."
You've just lost a trophy that makes you. Like,
Like,
What are you doing,
you know, for me, it's just mad. They're like, "Oh yeah, we'd take Saka over fucking Prime R9," and it's like, what are you talking about?
yeah,
They were
you
like,
don't
"Yeah,
believe it.
Forget
we'll
time
take-
or
we'll take-
nine, bro. It's the
I saw-
wingers of the
I
day.
saw them, yeah.
Of
They
this
were
day,
doing
bro.
they were doing like a prime taking this Arsenal team over a prime Brazil team or something. They were doing like a TikTok, and this guy was like, "Yeah, Calafiori over Roberto Carlos and Timber over Cafu." and blah blah. And I was looking at him like, what are you talking about? You know
You
what I
don't
mean?
believe that, surely.
Like, there's no chance. There's no chance you're taking fucking Martinelli over Rivaldo. Like, you're chatting shit, bro. You're talking rubbish. You're not taking Gabriel Martin over Rivaldo, bro. I don't care who you are.
Holy shit.
Like,
Do you know
Gabriel
what?
Martin.
it's mad.
I've said this. I've said this to a couple of people. Like, not to keep digging at Arsenal, but some of the shit they spout and like how they react when they win little. Just a reminder. Me and Funds have already spoke about this off camera. Just a reminder. You projected to win 4 titles. You've walked out with 1.
Yeah,
And you're the
fuck.
best. How can you be the best team in the world? You've not won the Champions League, but I've spoke to this about Funds as well. The amount of shit Arsenal fans spout out, it's so lot to take in. Like it's almost draining. Like, you know when you watch TikTok and you're like, God, who would I rather pick? Zinedine Zidane in his best,
Or Eze.
or
What are you
first
talking
season
about?
Rice, and you're like, what? And it's like they sit there and they go, I take Eze, and you're like, oh God, what are you doing? You don't mean
It must be. I promise you, it must be rage bait. There's no way they can think this.
No,
But
but
mind
Like,
you,
it must be clickbait for views because there's
I
like
feel like it is that, you know.
you can't
No.
be, like no
No,
with some people it must be because there's no chance that you sit there and go, right, I know, yeah, right, I'm gonna take Saka over Cherky. Nobody in their right mind says they're gonna do that.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's actually ludicrous. Like, Arsenal, man, this year have gone, oh, these men have won a title, so they've got to be good. But it doesn't work like that.
yeah.
Man like fucking Eric Dejemba and Kleberson had won titles. They weren't that good.
you know what it is, bro. I feel like a lot of these fans, yeah, that say these type of stuff, I feel like they don't know football as
They
a
don't
sport.
watch football. They don't watch football.
They don't watch.
They
Football.
Yeah.
hear about football.
They don't
Yeah.
watch football.
They see the highlight or the result and go, oh man, we won 2-1. We must be a bad boy team.
You don't have to be the best knowledgeable person in to know football. You know, you can just know when a team's playing good and when a team's playing bad.
It's not
You
that
can just know
difficult.
the
Jim.
basics. It's not.
Do you know
It's
what?
not that
I tell you what.
difficult.
I tell you what. Do you know what it would be? You know when you see TikToks of them like, would you rather take Prime Ronaldo at Real Madrid or Saka? I feel like there's a part of it that says Saka because they didn't watch Ronaldo every game at Real Madrid. The same way where they go like, have you seen that one where it was like, oh, would you rather take David Raya this season or Prime Buffon? Millisecond, David Raya, and you're like, are you blind?
The problem is half these people have never actually, like you say, they've never actually watched football before like 2010.
Yeah.
Like, these man's first experience was like fucking Charlotte Barlow scoring for South Africa in the first game. Like, do you know what I mean? They weren't watching in the 90s and in the 2000s where football was real. I'm not saying it isn't real now, but it's watered down for me. You know.
Yeah.
And I think the problem comes from sponsorships and money because now there's 8 different streaming sites. It's on Netflix, it's on Prime, it's on fucking TNT, it's on BT, it's on Sky, it's on this. And you look at it and you go, fuck me, like Champions League football used to be on ITV1, bro. You used to watch Champions League football on ITV1. Yeah. You'd watch England games on ITV1 or Channel 4 or BBC One, depending on who had the rights. You'd watch the other shitty Europa League. You'd watch Europa League on ITV4, bro. Channel 120 on Freeview. Are you all right? Like, do you know what I mean? Football was so accessible to everybody. As a youth, you grew up and you was like, yo, I'm gonna watch fucking Inter Milan Real Madrid this time. Yeah, they've got fucking Eto'o and Milito playing up front, Lucio at the back. They've got fucking whoever. Ronaldo's playing, Zidane's playing. You've got Guti giving back heel assists. Figo's on the right, and you look at it and you go like, football was so accessible and everybody wanted to do something amazing.
Yeah.
Now we're praising people for making 400 passes a game, but they've not stepped out of their fucking half. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then when we see somebody like Doku that beats his man, we're like, yo, shit, wow, that's amazing. But really, that's basics. That's what 75% of the man was doing back in the day.
That's basics.
Yeah.
That's your main job, getting past your man and
You know what I
cross it
mean?
in. That's what a winger used
Yeah.
to do back in the day.
It's
Now they're
too
wanting us to
tactical now.
praise. Now they're wanting us to praise, man, for winning a title with set pieces.
Yeah.
What was that thing I read about the other day? Not the other day, a while ago. I read something about who was it? It's someone he does TikTok videos, but he owns like a Sunday league team, and they were like,
AB30.
No. It's Steve
Angry George.
Bracknell.
Oh,
Steve
Steve,
Bracknell.
yeah.
And
Big up the Royal Oak.
it were like, why do keepers now have their own coaches? Like, when I was playing football and the gaffer used to put me in that when I was a kid, I was just
Somebody just kick
training
balls at you.
normal. Yeah, like I didn't have anyone
Yeah,
come
just
up
kick
to me and
balls
be
at me.
like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Why do you have, why is it? Why is it? Why do people complain about set pieces? Yeah, or like go to like we complain about them. Yeah, but some people will go set pieces. God, they are ruining football, and I do agree to an extent. Yeah, but then. Like Keith Andrews for Brentford, yeah, I can go, oh, but he's done a fantastic job. He's a set piece coach, but I don't agree with all these other coaches. I don't understand because then what's the manager's job?
I think for me, the game has evolved, and evolution doesn't always mean better or worse. It means change. And yes, football does need to change and evolve and to keep with the times. However, it has to be done in the right way. For me, you're taking the emphasis off actually playing football, and now you're putting the emphasis on what you can do while the ball's dead.
It's like a game of
That isn't
chess.
football. That isn't football, you know. And I think to myself, okay, like I get your point about there's too many coaches, but a goalkeeping coach will work on specific drills for the goalkeeper, keeps the goalkeeper sharp. A striker coach works on finishing. You might have, I don't know, for example, Xabi Alonso. You're not going to want him to teach you how to finish. You're going to want him to teach you how to pass and to how to receive a ball on the back foot or whichever foot you are, where to turn and so forth and so on. So I do think a level of different coaches is needed. You know, a defensive coach, a coach that coaches your midfield, and your manager. It's his job for me to pick the right coaching team. You can't do it all on your own. Your
Yeah,
manager will implement your match day tactics. Your manager will implement your style of play and how he wants you to play. Your coaches then get you ready for that tactic, for that formation, for that style of play. Right. Declan Rice, you're playing in between the lines. Yeah, you're going to be the deepest midfielder. We want you to be passing between the lines so that you can, get Eze and Odegaard breaking them. Then from that point, Eze and Odegaard, it's their job to get the ball out wide to Saka or to Martinelli. Then we're going to put the ball into the box because that benefits Gyökeres because the striker coach knows that one touch finishing with his head or his foot is the best way to do it for us. That's what these coaches are there for. Your set piece coach, he will work on set pieces because your striker coach, there's no point you getting him to say, right, this is how we're going to do a corner because he hasn't studied, he hasn't analysed. If you were to ask one person to do all of this analysis, they would have no time. So that's why it's split into the different roles. And that does make sense.
but surely watching football, you get the drift of it. That's how I started. But on what you were saying about football used to be on ITV. That's how I got into United. The first ever TV I had, bro, I was like 6 years old. Yeah, first TV, turned it on, ITV, Inter Milan versus Manchester United. From that day on it, and even just I remember when I used to play football in Midland Derby, massive football pitch, proper like young players FA Cup, like fucking everything, bro. There were to me, I learned everything just watching the game. Like, because I was specifically a midfielder, so I'd watch players like Gerrard at that point, Scholes, Keane. I'm watching even Anderson at a push. Like, I'm watching players like that, and I'm watching them going, I could do this. I go in my back garden and train. Do you know what I mean? That's.
I know exactly what you're saying. I think the problem
Yeah.
is that there's too many people now that overstate their ability, unfortunately. And I think that there's people that can play a game, there's people that can watch a game, and there's people that can do both. and there's not very often that you can do both. For me, I try and analyze everything that I watch. You know, even if I go and watch, you know, my daughter plays football, for example, I try and analyze so that I can help her. You know, that's just natural to me. I want to coach, I want to be that guy. But for other people, they'll see something and think I can do that, and then you put them in there and they don't do it, and you're like, well, hold on, we've just told you we want you to receive on the half turn because that guy was not doing it. We've put you in there. Now you're just playing bounce passes. You've told
Yeah.
me you can do this. It's all right saying, you know, that's how we did it. But again, football is evolving now. Football is becoming a much more inclusive thing. Back in my day, especially, if you weren't really any good at football, you had to find people that were at your level, or you had to be better. You had to be able to play to get into set teams, to get into even football at school. Man, them didn't want you around if you couldn't play. You'd be kicked off
Yeah.
the
Yeah, you can't,
playground.
bro.
You
You
know,
can't come around
like
with.
it's not even a joke.
Yeah,
The,
you
Like
go in
the
there.
best
Yeah.
thing we can do for you, mate, if you can move around like a cat, go and go, mate.
that's
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Do
it
you
is.
know what I mean? You know that one that respectfully that one fat you that wanted to play. Like, yo, my guy, you'll be sick in goal. You know, like,
Yeah,
and he was probably
yeah.
techie, by
Nah.
the way. He was probably techie, but that was the thing. Like, when we were growing up, or I say we very loosely because I'm a bit older, but when I was growing up, football was way different. You had to be able to play, whereas now it's all about inclusivity, which is not a bad thing. In certain levels and standards, you know, kids football, it is about getting them involved and playing, because certain kids develop and learn at different places. But if you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and you can't ball, then you need to find people that are like at your relevance,
Your
because
level. Sunday
like
league.
that's what I'm trying to say. That no, but not no, but bro. Some Sunday league teams are levels, bro.
Yo, trust me, bro.
You
Yeah.
know,
Some of the
like,
league teams
yeah.
now
To be
have
fair, look, funds,
evolved.
your league, in
Yeah,
your league funds, yeah, there used to be Poets,
yeah,
Shire, Hillborough
yeah.
have got a decent team. These are all really high level
Shout out,
teams
Bill,
that
bro.
go and play in these Sunday League FA Cups and stuff that are like proper tournaments. They're not just games that are throwaway games. Do you know what I mean? That you have to pay to get into these competitions. For me, I like my money, bro. I'm not paying to get into a competition. I think I'm gonna get bopped in. I'm taking a team that I expect to. I want to progress.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean? I want to put it on my Instagram story and say, listen, now this is me. I'm the guy. Respectfully,
Facts. Facts.
you know. So it's not just saying, oh, well, you can go play Sunday League because you're not any good. Now, actually, the standard of football has risen because there are players that are at better levels. The problem is they're now being coached in a way that says possession is key. Keep the ball. Learn to recycle. Which, to be fair, I kind of try and keep it local when I'm playing. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, look, just 5 yard will play. But sometimes you've got to go into a channel. Sometimes you've got
Yeah.
to shell it. Sometimes you've got to take your man on. Like, football isn't to be coached in one way. There isn't just one set way to coach football or to manage football or to play football or even, you know, whatever. For me, it just has to suit you and the team you're in. I say this about managers and players all the time. If I'm a manager and my players don't buy into me, that's my problem. They're not
Yep.
going to perform if they don't buy into me. As a manager, I've got to buy into my players. I've got to manage them players in the right way to get the best out of them. If I manage them in the right way, they are going to 9 times out of 10 respect me. They're then going to buy into me. Not
Yep.
only that, I need my coaches to get them to buy into my coaches because they're going to understand football. Everybody's going to have an opinion, but we need to get ours across in the way that benefits this team. You
Mm.
know, I say this all the time. You look at, I don't know, who's had a bit of a bad time. Thomas Frank at Brentford did a great job, I think, for the squad that he had.
Oh
Comes to
yeah.
Tottenham, and he struggles because for whatever reason, the players weren't buying into his style. Yeah, so he's come to a team with different players, and he can't replicate his style. It's a classic case of the players not buying into the manager. The manager hasn't, for whatever reason, been able to get them to buy in, so they've struggled. It's very tenuous football. You could go to a club and be really, really good and technical, but you don't get on with the manager. Ibrahimovic, for example, at Barcelona, then he
Yeah,
went to Inter and tore it up. Do you know what I mean? It's so different with man management now and stuff like that, and player power is massive. Back in the day, you did what you were told, or you know. I look at Ferguson. Ferguson had Yap Stam, who I think was a top world class defender. I'll be so
yeah,
honest. Yeah, they had a falling out over something. Ferguson let him leave. You know, he was like, "Listen, you're not bigger than this club. I'll buy somebody else. I'll find somebody
Yeah,
else."
yeah. Did that
You
with
know,
did that with
David
Beckham.
Beckham.
He
He did it with
did that with
numerous players, and I just think now players are outlasting managers rather than the other way around.
yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I do agree with that though. When I played football with Trimless, I remember I forget his name, but the player that would coach, he was like playing and coaching at the same time. He whacked me left back, but I'm right footed. I mean, you do the math. Whacked me left back, yeah. And don't get me wrong, he were like, just short passes. Let's do a slow build up. Like it's something along them lines of like, don't just be kicking the ball over. I'm like, but that's kind of my game. Like, if I have to say my best, it probably is passing because I feel like
Little
I
Shelly
like
one.
kind of like I like seeing faith in people. If let's say Sam, let's say you're like fucking rapid, yeah, and you're on the
Yeah, I
right.
am. What do you mean? What do you mean? Let's say. What do you mean?
Okay, fair enough. Not
Sam, when I
pace.
came to watch you that time, you barely moved. Come on.
But let's say you've got a guy, but you're loose onto him. Like he's not exactly marking you, but like he's near you. I'd have faith in you. If I'm gonna ying this ball up the pitch, I know you're gonna and go around and get it.
Yeah, I get it.
And I remember playing left back. I wish I remembered names. Dude at left mid, I had centre backs, I had the manager who was playing as well. I had the right back, two midfielders, a right winger, and a striker. And I remember having the ball here. I'm looking around. Every fucker were marked, and I'm not joking. None of them would move. So I'm sat there thinking, what do we do? And I just see the right winger, and I've seen it. I just know he's quick. I don't know who he is. I just know he's quick. Ying this bloody ball. But that's because there's options. There was no options. Do you know what I mean? So I agree with you. You have to work well with what you've got, whether it's the manager or the players. I couldn't work in that team because for me, I like the riskiness. I like when man are being marked, yeah, and they're just standing there waiting for the ball. It's like, bro, I'm not going to be the reason we've lost possession. Do you know what I mean? You've got to go into depth, man. We're going to move on to Manchester United, but obviously the one thing about coaches, and I'm glad Sam brought it up about these different roles. You know, these coaches give out to separate players and everything. Obviously, funds you know every week I go on about Steve Bloodclot Holland. He is the most English football, and what worries me is going into next season we've got Carrick. If he's still what assistant manager or whatever he is, Carrick can't be listening to him. The question I do want to ask is, how confident are we in Carrick? Because I watch games, yeah, and so Carrick will stand there like that, and Steve Holland's in his ear like this every 10 minutes. He's the most honestly, if you don't know Steve Holland, do your research. He's the most boring English fucking Sean Dyche at Everton. Like, you know, when we sit there and watch United games and we go, will we do something? It's that bold fraud or whatever he is. Because he's in his ear. And what worries me is Carrick listens to him. Funds, how confident are you in Carrick next season?
No, I'm confident. I'm confident, man.
When you say confident,
yeah.
What are you talking about? What are you expecting from next season? Where are you expecting to finish? I know that's a really broad question, but
that's a good question. That's a decent question. No,
like,
I think we'll finish top 3 with a trophy. 100%.
Okay.
100%. I hear what you're saying.
I imagine you're thinking FA Cup or League Cup, yeah?
I'll be real. If we don't, we better win both. I'll be honest. Both of them has to be minimum. One is okay in it, but one is still like you only picked one when you could have picked both. You know what I mean? But like they're domestics in it, and
so the chances of you either be greedy or not be greedy.
Yeah, be greedy, man. Get both of them, bro. I'll be real. Be greedy, bro.
Being greedy, then.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because like, if we're gonna go back to the top, yeah, and like players are performing and Carrick's come and turn the place around a bit. You know what I mean? If next season's looking well, we've already signed someone, that
I'm
Edison guy. You know what I'm saying? If we're already moving like this already, I don't see why we can't compete.
I'm gonna ask the question, Funds.
Yeah, go on.
This year you played 40 games.
Yeah,
Ish, yeah.
yeah,
You have say you have a decent run in the Champions League.
yeah,
You're in the finals of these cup competitions that you say. So you're in the final of the League Cup, final of the FA Cup, and you do well in the Champions League. I don't think you win it, but you say you get quarterfinals. Yeah, for example, you've
yeah,
then gone from playing 40 games to 70.
yeah.
65.
Mm.
Do you think that's going to have an impact on your squad and how you perform? Do you think what you're actually saying is attainable? And what would you sacrifice to gain the other? So, for example, what I'm asking is, if it got to the point of you had to sacrifice winning these domestic cups to gain European football next year, Champions League football, for example, which is the upper echelon, or would you sacrifice the Champions League football to go and win these domestic cups? And what is your real breaking point? Does that make sense?
Oh, the last question, that's a hard one. I'm not gonna lie.
I know it
I,
is. That's why I asked you.
I can't answer that because I don't know how we ain't the season's not started yet, so I wouldn't know until like the season starts. But to with the first question, remind me, what was it again?
I was saying, like, what would you rather, if you had to sacrifice? It's, you're going from playing 40 games to say 65, 70 games now.
Oh yeah, if it's gonna impact the team, I don't think it will
Yes.
because we've already signed someone, and we're gonna bound to sell 6-7 man.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? So
Rasmus has officially signed to Napoli.
yeah, officially, so he's already gone. Rashford will more time pay him out. I'll be real because I don't think Barca's gonna buy him.
I'd take Rashford.
Um,
Apparently,
I'd take
Spurs
him
are
for
in
30
for him.
mil.
yeah,
I'd take him
apparently
for 30 mil.
Spurs, another
Newcastle.
team as well, and
I think
Arsenal.
Villa. And yeah.
Arsenal, yeah, Chelsea as well, which is crazy. But
Thing is,
yeah,
my question is, yeah, you're gonna sign these players. You've signed this Edison. He looks like a talent. I've not really seen him that much, but I've seen little bits. But
Yeah.
again, we all, I say we all. I didn't. A lot of people thought Ugarte was going to be a talent. Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, there's no guarantee that some of these guys that are signing
they?
for any of our teams
I'm sorry, you
are.
got
No, 100%. No, 100%. I agree. Still, I agree with that statement. But I I don't think it will have that much impact on us like that when we have these games because we're getting players who are experienced in European competitions,
Yeah,
and we've already got some players who have played in European competitions as well. So that's not going to really be an issue. And then obviously, if you're going to invest in like your Fernandez, um, your Lewis's Hall, and your other players as well who are like Prem proven, they're going to help
but
out.
Lewis Hall is fantastic. I can't believe he's
That's
not been taken to the
bro.
World
That is a
Cup.
fantastic rumor, bro. If we sign him, bro, I'm mate.
Hey, do you know what?
That's great.
I'm not as mad now. He is not on the England squad because now during the World Cup we can go in for him because he's not playing.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
and do it.
which is
Easy.
even better for us. Which is even
Yeah.
better. So that's why I'm not really too worried about the impact on the squad to do with games.
And to be fair, I know KLS doesn't like him, but if I was you lot and Elliot Anderson's going to United, I'd go in for Adam Wharton. I know KLS hates the guy, man, but I'm
To be-
telling you,
to be honest,
progressively,
United have Anderson on a very high they want him in it, but
well, I think everybody wants him.
yeah, everybody wants him, bro. He's high on their list, isn't it? But like you said, everybody wants him, so it's going to be hard to get him. So
Yeah, of course.
we're going to have to look at your number twos, your number threes, your number fours on the list, isn't it? And that's not really going to be a problem because one, we're a big club, and two, I don't think the money is going to be an issue like that. We're not going to be doing panic buys. And some of these players as well, they've been relegated and they want to stay on the Prem. So West Ham with Fernandez, they were asking for 80, but we're not going to do that because you're relegated, bro. You got no credentials. Yes, you got to sell
No
players,
chance.
but you got nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
My dog DC, what are you telling me?
Man, like DC. Shout out DC, man.
More
But
than-
yeah, like the
Push your
other
Arsenal,
players
man.
as well. Yeah, like it's. I don't think it's gonna be an issue because I think we're gonna invest in players with experience in these competitions. Now with the sacrificing thing, I can't answer that. I can't answer that after. I can only answer that maybe after 10, 15 games.
I get it. I just like I was just trying to gauge what your expectations are. I asked this a lot of the Arsenal man them this year. You know, what are your expectations rather than what do you feel you're going to do? Do you know what I mean? Because the expectation and what your heart is telling you are two different things, respectfully. And I
Yeah,
just think to myself, like, if it was a club that hadn't won anything, you'd probably lean towards winning something.
yeah,
Whereas really, I think for you, for the next couple of seasons, I don't think you're going to challenge for the title. I think you will be. I think you'll be up there. I think you'll be fine. You know, but for me, I just think cementing the next couple of seasons at Champions League and keeping adding to your squad, because I do think there is a lot of deadwood in it. Very
yeah,
similar to Spurs. I think there's a lot of deadwood that needs moving on,
yeah.
and a lot of quality that needs to be brought in.
Mhm.
Which you're not going to do in one window. Do you know what I mean? But I think there's definite positives. You know, will Carrick be able to maintain it for a whole season? I don't know. I've not seen enough of him. I love Carrick. I loved him as a player. I'd never wanted him to leave to United. But he's somebody that I really like, and I want him to do well. As much as I don't necessarily like Man United that much, but I want Carrick to do well. So for me, hopefully he succeeds in doing something that's relatively good. But like KLS said earlier, there are many options out there of guys that can do a job. You look at it, Zidane had the job for ages. You look, Pep's gonna be there. You look at Pep probably won't come because it's not United, but like I said, Nagelsmann. You've got a lot of people that are out of jobs at the moment. So it's when you make that decision in it, it's how loyal you want to be, I imagine.
Do you know what? Just on the basis of you saying, I do agree to an extent. I hate to say it, but I do think let's slowly get back into these competitions, right? One thing you said there about keep buying players to elevating players, and then you bring up Wharton and Elliot Anderson, right? Surely this might be me being a bit big-headed and being nostalgic, and now we're back at the top. Two things, right? One, shouldn't we aim a bit higher?
I don't
Isn't
think
Man
we should.
United?
Well, we
Isn't Man
can't, man.
United?
We can't.
No. But isn't Man United a club that goes for players that have won the Champions League? And I'll explain why I don't like Wharton or Anderson. Yeah, to me, if you're going to be labelled 100 million, 80 million, obviously Wharton and Elliot Anderson, if you're going to be labelled as that, yeah, you can't be going down with your team. 100 mil. I expect you to be the person that brings them up.
I'm sorry, but none of them are worth 100 mil.
That's what I
The
mean.
thing, right? I've always
it's a
said
waste of
this.
money.
I think this is the problem. I think people get too bogged down in what somebody is actually worth and what somebody is worth to their team, because what their actual worth is doesn't have a factor in. Yeah, there's two factors: what somebody is willing to pay for said player and what that team values him at. Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton, they're probably not worth 100 million. I think Elliot Anderson is the better footballer. I think they're slightly different in their roles. You know,
I think
Elliot
Wharton's
Anderson is like a box to box midfielder for me. He kind of just dictates play. Wharton is somebody that gets into the half spaces and progresses play. Slightly different. You know, English tax is obviously massive. If they were Spanish midfielders or fucking thingy midfielders, they'd probably be worth 50, 60, 70 million. right? Because that's the game now. That's the value of players. However, they're English, so they are worth more. But I genuinely think that Elliot Anderson or Adam Wharton slot right into your midfield. I think they make your team better. I don't care what anybody says, and
Yeah,
it's all
100,
right saying
100,
it's all right saying I think we should go out there and buy players that have won the Champions League and won this and won that. But there was a point where these players hadn't won anything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
your Casemiros that somebody took a chance on. I think that's I think that's the bit that you're missing. You don't just get ready-made people that have won 5 Champions Leagues. They've got to be trusted and built upon. You know, if Elliot Anderson comes to you,
surely there's an argument, yeah, where you look at United and who we're linked to, right? When I say aim higher, right? All right, you've got Wharton, yeah. In my opinion, I wouldn't spend 25 mil on him. I think he's useless.
Mad.
He's useless. Where was he against Macclesfield? Where was he all season?
Mad, bro.
Answer me. Go on, answer me. Where was he all season? What was he? He did this. We're looking to buy a CDM, yeah, a 6 that's replacing Casemiro, yeah. Man, I go in Adam Wharton. Casemiro's on how many goals this season? Adam Wharton's just scored his first. How is that a replacement to Casemiro? Next up,
They're
Elliot
two
Anderson.
different players. They're
Elliot
two different players. Bro,
Yeah,
that's
the
like
thing
my
is-
man
the thing
said
is,
earlier.
Casemiro-
But is Casemiro not a massive reason why we're third?
He is a massive reason why you're
Well,
third.
there you go. So surely, if we're going to replace him, don't go for a player who doesn't even lace up his boots. Elliot Anderson, on the other hand, in the conversation of right, hold on, we've got Elliot Anderson there, who's practically gone down with Nottingham Forest all the way down to 16th. But then you've got Tonali, who's probably about 30, 20 mil cheaper, played in the Champions League, played in the Serie A when at this point where he was at AC Milan, the league was somewhat decent, so he's got that experience. Surely you look at that and you still don't go Elliot Anderson. You got an Elliot Anderson that basically flopped in the Europa League. I'm sorry to say it, but he did. It flopped in the. You've got Tonali that helped Newcastle against teams like PSG in the Champions League and actually do it for 30 mil cheaper. Surely you don't look at them two and go, right, I'll still take Anderson. Surely,
Can I give you something? Can I give you something, Careless? Let me show you something. Yeah. So, as what you call it? Was it? Hold on. Who was talking just a second ago? Was that Funds?
Sam.
Oh, Sam.
probably be.
Okay, my brother. Well, go on. Listen, let me just give you this sample size here, because I think sometimes because we are football fans, we're football managers. That's what we are. We're football managers. Because Casemiro came to your team, right? Perfect example. You said get a Champions League winner, whatever, all that stuff there. Man came to your team as the Champions League winner. Since joining your team, you've done nada still. Yeah. It's not me trying to take the piss or anything. I'm just trying to show you this. Casemiro's goals, all these goals he's scoring, he weren't doing that at Real Madrid. He weren't scoring that many goals at Real Madrid, right? Yeah. He came to United and that game changed. He was scoring them goals. So you can't really say when they say stuff like that. Then you look at Mahrez, who came from a Division 2 team, went to Leicester, shot shit up, went from Leicester to City, shot shit up. Kante went from a lower team in the French league, went to Chelsea, became the best holding midfielder in the world. It's not always about because my man's done this, my man does that. There's players who can be molded depending on what they have. And then when you talk about bringing players in, it's not just about you bring a Champions League winner in. You have to build it. Pogba is the perfect example of how shit can go wrong. You man bought Pogba, who was supposed to transfer your team. You had one of the most generational talented midfielders, and you gave man dead wood next to him, bro. Like you can bring players all you want, but the problem is with United is you have to uproot. You need to pull from the bottom completely. Basically, you need to line up the mandem and just spray the mandem and be like, "You man are done out here." Do you know what I'm saying? You got to do that and start from fresh. Arteta's the perfect example for stuff like this. He literally uprooted the Arsenal team. No, it's not even. I'm not trying to do the Arsenal thing. I'm trying to show you. Wait. Listen. Wait, man. Wait. Let me land. This ain't even track, bro. Let me land. It's not about trying to glaze Arteta. It's got nothing to do with the Arteta glaze. It's to do with the structure. that was put in place. Emery came, he weren't given time, right?
Pause.
Cool. He went, Arteta came, and he started uprooting things from the bottom, and started creating a like building bit by bit, building blocks. Even people could say you did this, you did that, you lot flop, whatever. I don't care about it. I'm talking about the institution itself. He brought the institution back to what it was. That's what United have missed since Ferguson left. There was a rot in that United team. You can bring a 150 million player that's the Champions League winner, bring it to the team, and it still won't do nothing if you still have a rot in there. If you put Diamond that's worth $1 million in shit, it's going to be a Diamond that's worth $1 million in shit. It's not going to all of a sudden turn the shit
a lot, man. Shut your
into
mouth.
Diamond. Huh?
No, not you. The guy in the comments in it. Anyway, DC.
Oh, yeah,
like,
so-
no, listen. Hold on a minute. You've just said that Arteta has brought it back to what it was. So you're telling me you're putting Arteta on a level with Wenger?
I'm not saying I put Arteta on level with Wenger. You're missing my point. My point is that when he came into that team, there was so much toxicity, and he was just removing it bit by bit by bit. He was removing the rot bit by bit by bit.
So
This
you
is what they
think
need to give Carrot.
You think that he's built a squad that will dominate football now for the next X amount of years?
Nothing is guaranteed in football. Football's cyclical. If he gets certain players in, he can build a squad that can dominate. I'm not talking about domination. I'm talking about trying to get yourself to a position to actually challenge. You need to uproot. So there's still players there that were there when Mourinho was there. That was there when fucking what's his name? The guy that was falling down, the Dutch Donny. I forgot the Dutch Donny's name.
Louis Van Gaal.
Van Gaal was there. You basically need a cleanse of the club, bro. You need a cleanse. You need them to have the mentality of you play for Man United. You play for the biggest club in English football. You play for one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's not mediocre time. You can't joke around. You have to go back to the institution that Ferguson brought in, where for example, what he used to do, which I thought was amazing, because I started doing it with my team, was you'd win a championship. During training, my man would be purposely like sending slide digs to players. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, my man's looking slightly slower, you know, we might need to look at another winger. My man's looking slightly leggy, you know, because it's putting man in, like, making man and basically be like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, even though I just won, I can lose my position. These players don't feel that. They come into United and say, oh, I play for United, I'm good. You can't have that at a club like United, bro. So when you're saying about, oh, go get this player because he can't lace this guy's boots. Casemiro was not a big scorer at Real Madrid, bro. He came to United and altered his game and was able to be a big scorer. He didn't have that. I can't say he didn't have that in his locker, but he weren't doing it. So when you're saying someone like Adam Wharton, you don't know. You have to bring players. Sometimes you have to, it's about the belief in what you see and building it. You have to have that trust. No one would have known Kante existed. Man was in League 2. In League R, they built that guy. Mahrez was a nobody. He got built.
I'm going to shoot you a question, yeah? 80 million, are you taking Adam Wharton at Arsenal?
I actually would, you know. He's a progressive passer.
100%.
I watch Adam Wharton I don't think he's worth 80 mil. I don't think he's worth 80 mil. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying he's worth 80 mil. That's English tax. And that's the detriment to a lot of our English players. But one thing you can say about him is if him and Elliot sat in your midfield, Elliot cleans box to box. When you watch Adam Wharton play, his first thoughts is break the line. You don't have a player like that. You haven't had a player like that in a very long time.
Bro. You're not buying.
You see what I'm saying? So you can't then turn around.
I'm telling you now, as a Spurs fan, if 80 million was the thing, I'd pay it. I'm being deadly serious. Yeah, and the reason I'm saying that is because we're crying out for somebody like him. I watched the game where he played against us last year, right? He had more progressive passes in one game than we had in fucking 10. And yes, you can say that's because Spurs are shit and blah blah whatever, but there's a way to make that better. Go and sign someone that's a progressive passer. I agree with a lot of what DC says, and I think this, you know, it's for me. You're saying, well, Casemiro scored these goals and he's a big part of why we were third, but if Adam Wharton comes in, you might find that Ahmad or Mbeumo or Cunha go and get 4 or 5 more goals. Look at what Mateta's done. Look at what Eze was doing when they were playing together. You know, look at Ismail Assar, he's scored quite a few this year. You know, I'm not saying he's got a bag of assists, but it's that progressive pass. It's that assist to the assist that people
Thank
are
you.
often overlooking.
Yep, and not many players in the world are doing this right now. And in the Premier League, stats have shown creative players have struggled so much this season. So many creative players have struggled so much because of the way teams play. You need a progressive passer, bro. Arsenal don't really have a progressive passer. From the last time we had that was Santi Cazorla. We don't really have a progressive passer like that. That's one of the things that can make your team tick. It's all great getting players that are this to that. You name Mateta. No one knew who the fuck Mateta was. They structured the team. Mateta's now banging goals. He's in the France team. People laughed at my man when he first said he's going to make the France team. Nobody knew who he was. Igor Thiago. Nobody knew where this Donny was from, bro. Man came and started bagging. That's what I'm saying. It's not always about the names. It's not always about the names here.
My thing is, KLS, you brought up Tonali, but for me, Tonali is more in the mould of Elliot Anderson. So, me, if I was looking at two midfielders, it wouldn't be Tonali, Anderson, or Wharton. It would be one of Tonali and Anderson and Wharton because they do different jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what? I'll just quickly. Mateta signed to Palace for 11 mil. So I don't think anyone. That's nothing. But just you're looking at this as a basis of your team. You're looking at it as Spurs. You're looking at it as Arsenal. Manchester United. We've spent 100 mil on Paul Pogba,
and gave him nothing. And gave him nothing.
Bro.
What did you give him as a partner? What did you give Paul Pogba as a partner? Please name me. You gave him a dying Matic.
He had Matic. He had Fernandes.
He had a dying Matic. Matic was washed.
Come on.
Manhuata was in decline. Bro, think about some of these things you're saying. It's not like you bought Pogba and you start putting hella world-class players around him and said, let's go. It does. And also, you said Casemiro is the reason why you're where you are. But Casemiro is also one of the reasons why you were in the dog shit. Remember that part too, bro. There's two flips to that coin of Casemiro. At one point, people were saying Casemiro's legs were gone. He's also part of the dog shit that also happened in United. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's all great saying you want to have a 200 million Champions League winner because we're United. Right now, it's not about that, bro. It's about getting people that want to die for that badge, getting people who've got something you can work with. Adam Wharton he's got a progressive pass. He's one of the most progressive passers in the league. And you know what's so good about him? And please don't try and call me like I'm trying to say he's this. But you see that old school style that Pirlo had, where he's a deep lying playmaker who can still break play, but every time he's got the ball, he wants to progress it. Adam Wharton is he's not Pirlo. I'm not saying he's Pirlo, but what I'm saying is he's a deep lying center midfielder that can read the game well, but he's a progressive passer. He can make your attacks so much quicker than just side to side. And do you know how comfortable he is on the ball? Also, he's a youth, bro. He's a youth. So you can turn around and say, oh, he was dog shit in this game, dog shit. Bro, that's what happens with youths. They'll have great games, they'll have dog shit games, but put them in a bigger stage, teach them more, and see what they can do, bro. Sink or swim. But it's not about getting superstars. QPR tried to do some fuckery like that and tried to be a beat at Real Madrid. How did that work out for them? You
did the Angie Makala thing, bro.
Fresh.
But look at this time, bro. Julio Cesar and fucking Samba.
They signed bare orders, man.
And they signed bet orders.
There was
they were signing names.
Eto.
But they were signing names. Their mind was, we're going to sign names, bro. But you don't need names. What you need are hungry niggas that are ready to do dirt.
Fight for the badge.
You need dirt runners. I'm saying people that bleed the colour.
I'll put it in this perspective, yeah? Right? Elliot Anderson, he's 50-50 right now. He's at home going, fucking hell, do I join City or United? Tonali wants to leave because he wants to join United. Who are you taking?
Elliot Anderson is younger.
You've just said you want players that want to die for the badge. One of them is going, do I join them or do I join the Ops? The other one's leaving the club they've been at for years.
I hear what you're saying, but you're also talking about Tonali, who was also flirting with Arsenal. So it's not like he's dying to go to United.
Guys, what's that? I've just literally seen on the Sky Sports, Forest rejecting opening bid for Anderson. So Man City tried getting him, and Forest are not literally trying to sell him.
There you
but
go.
they've got more money, G. You know what they're like.
You don't want to
100%. 100%.
Marinakis is a
But
pussy. I'll wrap him up.
he knows what he's doing. The guy's a businessman and a half,
He's a
bro.
pussy. That's he got wrapped up at the Olympiacos basketball game the other day.
That was 10 minutes ago as well. You know that literally.
I'm not even surprised by that. So
Not
don't
bad.
say what you're saying Tonali, but Tonali was flirting with Arsenal
but
during
even so,
the
from-
Newcastle
It wasn't
thing.
that. It wasn't that much though. Not that much flirting.
I hear that, but
No,
his
but for me
agent
though,
reached out
for me
to
though, it
Arsenal
don't
because the ship was sinking. Do you see what I'm saying? So like, it's all great when we want to talk about stuff like that, but the ship was sinking at Newcastle, and he was ready to jump in January, bro. So again, think about stuff like that. Sometimes you got to look at all those kind of areas as well. We're chair managers, bro. We're armchair managers. There are a lot of things that we don't get to see behind the scenes, bro. Do you see what I'm saying? You need characters. You need warriors. Right now, you don't need star names. You get warriors. You build a core, yeah, and they work. And then you get the stars to sit around and put the gloss on the fit. That's the icing on the cake, bro. But first, you have to have the base. You can't make cake by just putting icing on top, bro. Cake starts from the base. If you have no base, it's pointless, bro. You see what I'm saying? Man don't want to be coming to join the team and looking at my left back and seeing Luke Shaw. Are you all right, mate? Man don't want to be looking at my right back seeing Diego Dalot. Are you all right, mate?
It could
It's
be
all
seeing
good.
Lewis
It's all good, Maguire, but he's an 80 million fridge. Like, are you okay, bro? Man don't want to be doing that, bro. And also, when you're saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get a man who's won Champions Leagues and this like that," ask yourself this question: be real, yeah. Be real with yourself. Look at this from a working point of view. If you're working at somewhere like Mercedes, yeah, and you were bagging every time, like you're literally like you're making hella sales at Mercedes, you're doing a mad thing, and then all of a sudden they're like, do you know what? Yeah, to be fair, back in the day, a Prius was the shit. Yeah, Prius used to be the one, but they're not really like a sleeping giant. You've just been basically salesman of the year 3 years running. And then Prius come and reach out to you like, yeah, no, I want to challenge, but I'm not going to Prius while they're still trying to do that, bro. I'm a fucking salesman of the year for 3 years. Why the fuck am I going to go to Prius right now? When I'm seeing Prius really showing shit, then I'm like, you know what? Cool. I'm done here. Prius is now I'm going to go there. You don't need that, bro. Champions League winners not going to come to United and think that we're going to just hit the ground and start going, bro. They're going to look at him and be like, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Why do I need to leave a team that I've just won hella stuff with to go to a team that I might win stuff with, but there's so much shit still going on that needs to be uprooted? They'd rather just go to another team that's more likely to win something. So you might jump from Real Madrid and go to like Bayern
PSG.
and be like, you know, why would I go to United or PSG? Why would I go to United? United have a lot of work to do. You have to show these man that we've got the base. You're the icing on the cake, but the base is there. You can't go to these men and say, let me come to this team and come play with certain players that are there, because you'll be like, bro, that's pointless. Bruno Fernandes is a great sell for you because he's I think he's the best number 10 in the world. So he's a great sell for you.
Yeah,
but it's just him. But it's just him, bro. It's just him. Right now, you need more. Like I said, you need to uproot the rot, start again, and bring back the institution that used to be Man United, bro. Bring back what people used to remember Man United for. You can't, because right now in the last 10 years, you're just a floating giant. That's all you guys are. You're like a heavyweight boxer that was punched and dazed, and he still hasn't left the daze yet. He's not ready to throw a strike yet. Yeah, he can still hit, because punching power is the last thing to go in a boxer. So, when he hits you, you can still feel the hit. But can he carry that hit? Can he keep what follows up after that hit?
Can he knock you out is the question, yeah.
Exactly, bro. He can wobble you, but he can't do the finishing blow because why? He hasn't got the core for it no more. And the core is important.
Yes.
Anyone that boxes knows you need core to box, bro. You need your core. That's what carries so many things. If you do Muay Thai, you do Jiu-Jitsu, it's core business, bro. Core starts everything that powers you for so much. If you haven't got a core, there is nothing working up top. You will do some dirt because you have play. It's not like you got shit. Not like all your players are shit. You're still gonna do something, but is it enough? No, because why? You need to remove the rot. You have to start from scratch. You need a purge, bro, and rebuild with, like I said, people that want to die for the badge. You have to remind people of why you play for United. Not they coming to United to have a holiday. Casemiro came to United to have a holiday, bro. He didn't come to United to win shit. He came for a holiday.
That's a load of bollocks, yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, but I think that's a holiday for me, bro. The reason why I think it's a holiday, do you know why I think it's a holiday? Because nothing was done after Casemiro was signed. And my man just was like, okay, cool. I'm going to play, Don't get me wrong,
What do you mean-
Casemiro.
what
It's
do you mean
not
it
like
can happen?
it's not like he didn't try for the badge. Casemiro loves United. I'm not saying he didn't try for the badge, but it was a holiday. Why? Because you
But that's
bought
how
a
you.
guy
If you're
who's a
going on a
winner
holiday,
and bought
then you're
nothing
not really
around
loving.
him.
If you're going on a holiday in the club, then you're not really loving for the badge, bro. So that's
Bro, he came there thinking that he was actually gonna have a JOB, and he turned into a holiday, bro.
That's cut.
He
That's
thought he was coming to the fucking
That's
what's
cut.
one of the big hotels, a massive Marriott's.
If it's
And
a
then he
holiday, why
realized
is
he's
it?
Yeah.
fucking
If it's a holiday,
Holiday Inn.
why has he won trophies? If it's a holiday,
He has won trophies, bro. It doesn't matter.
So why?
Listen, it's
so
not about.
Yeah,
It's
why
not
didn't
about
he
whether
win trophies?
he's won
basis?
FA Cup. He's won the FA Cup, bro,
And Carabao Cup.
And a League Cup.
and a League Cup. Cool, but this is a Champions League winner. He came there. I'm sure in his mind, he came there thinking you guys are gonna build something, and I'm gonna
Listen.
challenge for the Premier League and the Champions League. It didn't happen, bro.
Listen,
It didn't happen because you stopped.
Listen,
But he's coming to the team, and look where we are now.
listen.
But
That's
look where you were
listen.
before,
Listen.
so
Listen. That's
he's
listen.
part
That's
of the good
listen.
and the
That's
bad.
listen.
Yeah,
That's understandable. You saying okay, we didn't sign no one else like that. I hear that, but he already knew what he already knew what he was coming to. So I don't understand with the
But
whole
did-
holiday thing.
but the thing is,
He's
did
coming
he
to
though?
no. Listen. You've had your chance. But he's coming to a big club
Yeah.
in a shit, not shit league. Sorry, in a bad boy league, bro. In
Yeah.
what sense is that a holiday, bro?
But
That's not a
the question
holiday.
I'm asking you is, what
He's
I'm
coming to
asking
a
you,
big
Francis,
club. He's coming to a
did
big
he
club.
know?
He went to a big club.
Yes, he did.
That's going for a madness, bro.
But
In
the thing is,
no way,
what do you
in no
think
way
they
in hell
told
did he
him?
ever sit back and think it's a holiday.
But what do
No
you
way
think
in
they
hell.
told him when he signed for them? What do you think they told him? They probably told him things like, "Okay, you're here, you're Champions League winner, you're gonna lead the line. We're gonna do this."
If a club's gonna sign you, it's going to give you objectives, and 100% they didn't reach any most of them. 100%. I don't disagree with that at all.
To be fair, I probably think.
But what I do disagree is players not trying or holiday thing. No,
I didn't say he wasn't
not,
trying, bro. I didn't say he wasn't trying. I
But that's
actually said
basically what you're
I'm saying
implying,
he
bro.
tried.
When you're going on a holiday, you're not trying, are you?
He came, bro. It turned into a holiday.
So
What I'm saying is,
he's come to a big club with big problems, right? And let's not forget, we still had good players as well. We had big names. You know what I'm saying? We had Ronaldo and them, man. Come on, and cool. The objectives didn't hit at all, innit? But
at all.
100%, bro. 100%. Because I know for a fact the club probably promised him, okay, if you sign, we'll get these players and we'll get back to the top. Blah 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 blah. Clubs are gonna talk shit when they sign you, bro. They're gonna talk shit when it comes to terms and whatever. But I disagree with players being done. Like you can't be done after one season. You can't be done. I disagree with him not trying, him being done or whatever.
I didn't say he wasn't trying. I never said he wasn't trying, though.
You said he's on a holiday. He was on a holiday, bro. How can you be on a holiday if you're winning trophies? If you're winning domestic trophies, bro?
That's the thing. Is it telling you? Yeah, you're winning domestic trophies, but you're not winning the big boy things that you promised you were going to win when you signed my man, because you said you were going to invest and do this and do that.
Cool. Then if he didn't win the domestic trophies, then it would have been like, well, he didn't win nothing. But he did win something. So that implies that he was trying, or he wasn't really on a holiday. He was still doing his thing. He was still getting picked in, week out.
Maybe the word holiday might be the wrong choice of word, but you get what I was trying to insinuate, though. Maybe the holiday is the wrong choice of word, but you get what I was insinuating. A man that won the Champions League, was winning La Liga back to back, came was promised.
It can happen, bro. It can happen. We've seen players win big stuff, leave the next year because they think they're the big I am, or they think, okay, I need a new challenge or whatever, and they don't win nothing. We've seen it with big players. We've seen it with Coutinho. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it with loads of players, bro.
Maybe it might be the choice of word. The word in a holiday is the wrong choice of word.
But so, whatever you're implying, I disagree with it, because some of these big players or whatever that have come here, they've tried, bro. We've had problems with Ronaldo, bro. And how big is he?
I don't think you should have signed Ronaldo.
Exactly, fam. We should.
I think you should have invested in another centre half.
But it happened, bro.
And a CDM.
And he flopped.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Ronaldo?
I mean, yeah, he flopped. He did flop. But at the same time, though, he still carried on what he was bought to do, which was bag.
But Ronaldo
what was Casemiro brought in to do?
To be a midfielder. The system wasn't built.
Casemiro came in to fulfill a 6 and at least try and win or something. Bro, he's done his job, bro. And if anything, when you say, probably, yeah, again, you might not mean the holiday thing, but there must be something in how old's Casemiro? There must be something going on in United, and he's looking at it going, whether I've come for a holiday or not, I can see what we're doing. Let me put my foot down. Let me give it one last boom. Probably why he's coming to this season going, fuck it. Do you know what? Let me try and see how many I can score. Let me try and elevate them so I can leave, and they can carry on doing what they're doing. It's like Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'll give you this, and do you know what I mean? Surely, for someone of his character that's won everything, why has he been here for 4 years?
I don't think he had many options.
No, he did, bro. He had MLS. He had Saudi that's going to pay, so he can't be here for money. He can't.
Yeah, but MLS. I don't think he was ready for MLS. I think he still felt he had more to give in Europe.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so it can't be a holiday if he thinks he can give more. It can't be. It's coming because it'll be easy. If you go into MLS, he's not ready for that yet, or the Saudi league, and it can't be for money because the two massive leagues basically is money orientated. Wanted him, he chose to stay at us.
But to be fair, bro, he might not have wanted to go to America or to Saudi because obviously the weather in Manchester is class. So like he's chilling.
Oh.
You know?
You're taking a piss.
But do you know what I mean? Though? I just don't.
You're taking a piss.
You can't make up just stuff about Cassie when he's come to United. He's won 2 trophies. He's had money knocking. He's chose to stay at us. In his last season, he's running on fumes. He's given us absolutely everything he can. There's no way he can't sit there and go, well, I'm leaving because there's fuck all there. Why is it we've finished 3rd? This is arguably his best season at United, and now he's gone. I think I can
definitely
leave
best season. Definitely his best season at United.
What's made him have this season then go on? I'm good to go now. These lot are sorted.
It couldn't be that. It might not even be that he's left saying these lot are sorted. It could be that he's like, I've done all I could. This is my last chapter.
Yeah, it's definitely that. It's definitely he's done all he could.
Yeah, I've done all I could. This is my last chapter. And you guys need to... He's set a standard that some of the man them haven't met. And he's given everything he could. And that's what I'm saying about when you bring players in, you need to have players that have that standard. You can't just go for the big names. You need to start from the bottom up. You have to build again from the bottom up, bro. Like, so it's all great that you want to get all these players, all these big names. But sometimes... I know how big the club is. Sometimes you need to start from the bottom and get hungry people. And you don't even know what happens if you get Wharton and you turn Wharton into a 200 mil midfielder. What happens if he becomes the best midfielder in the league?
Look at Rooney. He was a 16-year-old. No one knew about him.
Oh, come on, Sam. That's
Rooney was class from Dong.
Nah, you can tell Rooney was a bit of a beast. The guy that 30, 16.
No, but
there's a guy who I play football. There's a guy who I play football with on a There's a guy who I play football with on a Sunday. Yeah, he played with Rooney when he was 15, bro, and he's told me like, yeah, he had it from day. He had it from.
Who's that from? Who's that?
Lauren Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rooney was a monster as a kid, bro. But I get what I think what Sam is saying is about the fact that United took a punt on him before anyone else did. And then he turned and he blossomed into not just potential, because we've seen many players who've had potential and they've reached nothing. They've reached nothing. But Rooney had potential, and that potential got turned into one of the best strikers England has ever seen. And you don't know about that could happen. Adam Wharton, you don't know. You can't look down on that right now, bro. Because right now you need players that want to play football, want to play for United, want to do the hard yards, want to be like, okay, when we lose a game, I'm not satisfied, bro. What the fuck is going on? Grab man in the neck and say, bro, if I swear to God, if you're not going to play for me, I'm kneecapping you. You need that kind of mentality. Basically, you need like 5 Simeones, because you know Simeone will bottle you if you don't do the job. My man will bottle you, bro. You need some psychos who want to just want to kill someone for the sake of the badge. You have that. You bring the stars in after that. You have the perfect team. You've got the engine to allow the beauty to continue doing what it's doing. Because at the end of the day, you can look at a car that looks sexy from the outside, bro. A car can look sexy from the outside. If the engine is dead, the car doesn't just look sexy. That doesn't work. But if you've got an engine that rocks, and then you then get the body work to make it really look the shit, you've got a bad boy whip. Right now, the engine isn't it. You need to rebuild the engine again.
Let me ask you this, yeah? All right, let's say we sign Elliot Anderson for 100 mil. When
Mhm.
Tonali's there, we've established Tonali's there with all the attributes.
Yeah.
So then, let's say we do sign Tonali and he does well at what I've named out. So it'll be good in Champions League, it'll be good in the Premier League, it'll be a good holding six that can do everything you're claiming Adam Water can do, but better. Let's say he does well, and people are going to go, fucking Tonali, hats off. You probably won't, because that's his level. You expect him to do that for 30 million cheaper, by the way. And let's not forget, United. How often do United get clowned for spending 100 mil on Anthony, on all these players, spending what's my man's name? You got it. How much did we spend on him? How much did we spend on who was that right wing we had that time? I forget. But like Xerxes, Haaland. We'll sit and get clowned. If we go buy Elliot Anderson, and he doesn't live up to this name, it doesn't live up to 100 mil, I'll have all you lot going, you sign Elliot Anderson for 100 mil, that's another 100 mil player, United are flops. That's what we're going to have to wear. So at this current moment, I don't know if Funds agrees, but at this current moment, I'm sorry, but for 30 mil cheaper and better attributes, I'm sorry, but I am going to Tonali.
I hear that, but that's banter.
It's not banter,
but you're
bro.
misconstruing it with banter. What happens if you get Tonali and Tonali's dead, and then Anderson flourishes? People will turn around and say the same thing. Like, said, so you went for a shit guy for cheap P when you could have got this guy for.
But that's chances though. But that's chance though.
Everything is a punt, bro.
No, but
sometimes you sign players, it's a punt.
Everything's a punt, but there's a clear one standing out. If I say, it's like you go on YouTube and people go up to people and say, "Would you rather have $100 or what's in this box?" That's a punt in it. You could probably take 100, and it's probably not worth that much in the box. But you go to the most attractive one, 30 mil cheaper, and has experience in all the categories we need. Manchester United need. But I'm taking 30 mil cheaper Tonali rather than. To be fair, at least with him, we've seen him do it. Anderson, that's a bigger punt. But everything's a punt, 100%. But let's be logical here. Yeah, but exactly. So let's be logical a minute.
But is it logical, KLS though? Yeah, is it logical? I hear what you're saying. Of course it is. Is it logical when you're saying think some players fit clubs, some players don't fit clubs? Yeah, you had Diego Forlan, who was for you. No, anyone looking outside that's not an Arsenal fan, so that's not a United fan, would be like, well, you know, Forlan is a bit of a dead player. He went to Atletico Madrid and became the best striker in the world. Because why? Certain players just don't work at certain teams. It can happen. That shit can happen. So you can look at Tonali. Tonali could be a bad boy in Newcastle, and then you can come to you lot and it might just not fit. It might not be the fit. Sometimes it's not just about, because I've seen him do it here, doing there. Sometimes a player will go somewhere and it just doesn't work out. When you lot signed Anthony, I actually saw him in the Dutch league because I watched the Dutch league as well. I actually saw him in the Dutch league. I was like, I ain't gonna lie, this guy's kind of cold. Like, I thought he was kind of cold. He came to United, they could start calling him the fidget spinner. He didn't look the right player. He went and left you, went to Spain to the team there. He's a star man for them, man.
Oh, but come on, we can't.
Do you see what I'm saying, though? You can never know
systems,
if a player's
systems and management and coaches.
But there's levels to it though. Again, I'll bring it back to if Elliot Anderson's 100 mil, this absolute class player. We're arguing here a player that's going down. But we're going down. We're talking about a player that's going down who's 30 mil more expensive, 100 mil, who's equally going down with Nottingham Forest. Tonali for 70 mil, 30 mil cheaper. He's elevated Newcastle to the Champions League, to top flights Newcastle haven't seen in decades. I'm sorry, but as United, this is the closest we've been to being the old United. I'm sorry, bro. Give a fuck.
But Tonali plays for Newcastle, bro.
I don't care, bro.
Elliot Anderson plays for Nottingham Forest. They're in two different sectors. Do you see what I'm saying? How do you know if Elliot Anderson wasn't in that Newcastle team, he could have elevated them too? We don't know that stuff. We don't know. They're two different clubs in two different states. Newcastle was already built with all that money they've already built to be challenging there. Nottingham Forest wasn't. You can say, he put them this way, but at the end of the day, Elliot Anderson was still involved in them getting to the semi-finals of the Europa League. He was still there.
Yeah, boy, he was also there putting them in the European spot. In the league, and look where they landed in the league. You know what I mean? So
100%, I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with that, but what I'm saying is that Nottingham Forest and Newcastle are gaps above each other, bro. They're gaps above each other. Tonali had the chance to play in the Champions League with Newcastle.
This is where KLS is arguing. Why is he going to pay 100 mil for a player who's down there when Tonali's 30 mil cheaper and he's up here?
But I'm not telling you who to buy. I'm saying
But that's his argument, though. That's his argument, though.
No, I hear that. My point
that's
is,
your argument.
I'm saying I think these players would suit your team. I'm not saying go and spend 200 million on this person or 80 million on that person.
But that's the price tag of the players, though. That's the issue. That's his issue.
Of course it is. And I get that. But my point is, like I said, you can sign Tonali or Anderson. It doesn't matter to me. It shouldn't really matter to you. I think you're going to get a very similar job. But like KLS says, if we can get one for 30 million cheaper, then why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't you do that? I understand it. I wouldn't clown you if you bought Tonali instead of Elliot Anderson. I'd go, you've signed a good midfielder. You've probably signed a great midfielder. If you said to me tomorrow, actually, I think I'd prefer Elliot Anderson for 100 million, I'd say the same. You're signing a great midfielder. But that's my point was, I think you need two great midfielders. You've got Fernandes. I think if you were to play Anderson and Wharton, you'd have somebody that breaks up play and dictates play. You'd have somebody that progressively passes, and you'd have somebody that can create and score in Bruno Fernandes. I know you've just signed this Edison. I don't really know his role. I don't know what he does best.
Edison's hard. I've
No.
watched Edison for a year.
That's the thing.
He's a breaker.
He's a breaker. That's what I'm saying. So if you've already got that 6 in Edison, then you wouldn't go and buy Elliot Anderson. You wouldn't go and buy Tonali. You'd go and buy Wharton because you need the progressive passer. Unless you're going to play with 2 6s and a 10. You know, for me, I think it works best having a 6 or a 4, whatever you want to call it, an 8 and a 10. You know what I mean? You've got Mainu in this team, but I think what you need is to get rid of Deadwood and add depth. That's my perception of what United is. You need to get rid of Deadwood and add quality and depth.
I think Edison's going to help Mainu a lot because of the way he plays. Because Mainu is one of those players that we don't really have much in England that can take possession in pressure. He's a pressure player. He can take possession in pressure, and he's young. And I think as he gets older, he's going to learn to be even better with receiving the ball under pressure, because we don't have that in England. That's one of the things that Spanish players in Spain really excel in, is being able to receive the pass while they're under pressure. And like I said, I'm not arguing against Elliot or Tonali. I think Tonali's a better player than Elliot. I generally think he's a better player than Elliot. I think Elliot is a bad boy. I guess the reason I'm thinking of Elliot is probably because of age. Because of the age profile, you know what I'm saying? You can build with him and then build other things around him. I don't agree with the English tax, because I think the English tax is what's been fucking up a lot of these English players. Because you're out here splashing 90 mil, 100 mil on a player that's like, if this was Spain, as you were saying, a player would be like 40 mil. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, this English tax. The man need to really chill out in England, bro. They need to chill out, because you can find a few Elliot Andersons in La Masia. You can find a few Elliot Anderson and La Masia that are more skillful as well. So I can understand what you're saying about the Tonali thing is a cheaper option. If that's what you want to go for, the cheap option, that's fine. That's not really a problem. I didn't know that was your argument was because of the pricing. I thought you were trying to just talk about with regards to just the players itself. That's what I was saying. Just get players that you think are ready to fight.
It's a bit of
both. A bit of both. Okay. I do think Tonali's a good player.
Sorry to interrupt, but I was just thinking about this while I was on the toilet, right?
Allow it. We didn't have to tell us that part.
Releasing chocolate hostage. So what was I was thinking was, you say, so obviously, and before people start, I know people are going to say, but these come from a different league to the Premier League. I can understand that. I'm going to flip it now and say, one's a different tier football club in the Premier League, which obviously, man, we're not going to actually sit and argue. West Ham's tier is the same as City's. There's different tiers within the Prem where teams can be. Do you know what I mean? You say, but take the risk with Elliot Anderson. We took a risk with Hoyland. Didn't work out. But you've got to take a risk on Ugarte. Didn't work out. Got to take a risk on Xerxes. Didn't work out. Now, who did we buy? Who's performed? And we've actively watched them do it. Imbramo, Cunha, Dorgu.
Fernandez.
Three right there. Fernandez. We know these.
Lemons.
And I'm glad you brung up Mainu, because surely, look, I'm sure I've grown to like Mainu now, so I'm a bit of a hypocrite. But with Mainu, yeah, surely with his best endeavours, surely you get someone that's a bit more experienced who can not hold his hand, but just right when he's going to throw it in. Like, do you know what I mean? Rather than someone that's going to go, I'm as clueless as you are. I'm new to this. Do you know what I mean?
He needs guidance.
For 30 mil cheaper. Man, damn. What are we doing? Man, we're going to move on. We're 2 hours in. Don't worry, I've been given the pass. I'm allowed to go nuts. Pause. Man, I want to talk about City, because City's interesting.
BBL City.
The two things I do want to bring up is, what do we actually think about Maresca? We spoke about this just before before we went live. DC, talk to me. What do you think about Maresca? Because obviously me and Sam were talking about it's a good appointment. I don't think anyone's actively sat there going,
he doesn't inspire you with confidence. He doesn't inspire you with confidence. Like that's what I said to KLS earlier was like the aura that he has. The aura is probably not the right word, but Ferguson, he brought an aura to the club. Ancelotti, Pep, Mourinho, they all bring this absolute aura to the club of, oh my God, we've just got Pep. You know, if Pep turned up at Arsenal tomorrow, you'd be like, oh my God, like Pep. You know what I mean? But if you got Maresca in, you'd be thinking, hey, yo, this is just like Pep if I bought him off Wish. Like, do you know what I mean? I didn't call you Boldy. Do you know what I mean? Like one of them ones. It's a bit mad. It just doesn't inspire me with confidence. But I think, you know, anyone should be able to go into that Man City team and set them up in a way to win. I don't care what anybody says. They're worth
Maresca's a good manager, man. I think he'll do well.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a good manager. I'm with funds on that.
The way he handled Chelsea, bro.
That tells you everything you need to know. Chelsea is a shit show, and he went in there, and look at when he left.
He's basically everyone's dad, bro.
Yeah,
he was the only older one there. No one else was. Look at the players. Who is experienced? KLS, me and you spoke about this with Chelsea, bro. Who's experienced? No one's experienced, bro. Right, all of them, like the average age is 27. G. What the hell?
Yeah,
the
English Barcola, he was experienced.
Crazy.
Oh Lord! Nah, I actually rate Maresca. I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely rate Maresca. Like I could see what he was doing at Chelsea. Like at least with him, when I was watching, out of all the managers I've seen at Chelsea in the last couple of years, bar Tuchel, he's the one manager I looked at and I could actually understand the style of play, what he was trying to do. He was going to take time back to understand it. And I feel like he could slot into City. I don't know what he can do with City yet, because we don't know. We have to wait and see. But because for him, it's different because he was there. Do you see what I'm saying? He was there. He understands City. So it's not like as he's walking into a strange place. He was there. The players will know who he is from when he was there with them. Obviously, some of them are gone. Some are still going to be there. Some of the backroom will understand him. He understands the ins and outs of the club. So he's actually a makes sense signing. It makes sense because he understood. He's been there. It's not like he's coming into a place and it's completely new. And it's not Chelsea. He's not going into a club that's in disarray. He went into Chelsea and he actually calmed the storm down for a while. So if you think about that, if he can go to Chelsea and calm the storm down there, like there's a possibility he can do dirt at City. There actually is a possibility. I know people are writing him off already. I don't know why they're writing Maresca off, because it's like you don't know what that guy's capable of doing. And people and the fact that he went from a lower league team in Leicester. Okay, cool. One of the biggest mistakes was probably him signing Dewsbury Hall for Chelsea, because it just didn't work out. And now he's gone to Everton. He's doing his thing. But the fact is, he went to a lower team in the Championship, excelled, came to the Premier League, went to Chelsea in disarray, and he kind of put, they were zigzagging. He kind of put them in a bit of a straight line and left. And you know what? Him leaving also highlighted just how well he was actually doing at Chelsea.
Yeah. We were saying this, weren't we, Sam, about Maresca. Like, we've all been laughing at Chelsea, specifically Garnacho. I will find this picture just to give him a. Oh, there we go. Just a quick round of applause. Absolute.
Oh yeah, Garnacho.
Yeah, love
He's
him.
He's the Argentinian Anthony.
Yeah. Apparently, he's interested into a move at Bayern Munich. The only issue is they've not asked.
Exactly.
Which is interesting. But obviously, me and Sam were saying. But, oh, could you imagine? But me and Sam was on about it, about like I think it's a bit tough. People are ripping on Maresca for Chelsea's time, because you look at Chelsea now to when he was here. He actually did a decent job at Chelsea for what they're working with. Do you know what I mean?
I'll be so honest though. I think the problem is he did go in there and calm Chelsea down. Then they got rid of him, and they brought in a fucking PE teacher. Like, it made his reign at Chelsea look better than what it was. I don't think it was phenomenal. And
No,
I
it wasn't
just
phenomenal.
I just think to myself, like, Man City are probably at a stage now where change is happening, and it's either going to be really good for them or really bad for them. I likened it to when Ferguson recommended Moyes, and Moyes came in and couldn't replicate Ferguson. He never was going to. So Maresca has to go into that Man City team and implant his own style of play. And them boys have, and I use this term a lot, them players have got to buy into him, and he's got to buy into them players. And they've had Pep for the past 8, 9, 10 years. It's not going to be easy to. It's not going to be easy to go in there. And, change doesn't always guarantee that it's going to go well.
Yeah, that's very true, Sam. But the difference is, Liam Rossini came into Chelsea and he was a good PE teacher, by the way. Just a side note, you might need to put respect on his
That
CV.
guy got the
I'm saying,
payday of his life.
he was a great PE teacher. Or ask all these kids. Ask all
Man
the
got
kids.
24 M's to leave, bro. Are you mad?
Yeah, facts. He never has to work
I'll
again.
take 24 M's. I'd go fuck up Chelsea for 24
Bro,
M's.
yo, seen a bit, leave, here's 24 M's. Bro, are you crazy?
I'll do that all day, bro. I swear,
Bro.
I swear down. I'll do it every day on a Sunday. Every day. Every single day. 24 mil to fuck up Chelsea. Brother, sign me on right now. I'm going to the job center to sign on it right now, bro. But you have to say.
But he was never
Maresca's
gonna. Sorry, DC, for cutting you, but he was never gonna
Nice one, bro.
do what Maresca did, bro, or even try and replicate anyone that who did well in Chelsea, because he ain't got the credentials.
I think Chelsea
that was a bad appointment.
I think
it was a
Chelsea
setup for
brung
failure.
him in. I think Chelsea brung him in the same way United brung in Carrick, in my opinion. Because obviously he came from Strasbourg, which is the sister club to Chelsea. So that kind of makes sense. I think that's what happened. Do you know when I lost faith with them was when there was losing 8-2 to PSG in the second leg, and I see Garnacho run onto the pitch with a piece of paper written on it from Liam, and I'm like, "What you doing? What
8-2, bro? Send everyone up at that rate.
No, not even, bro. Fuck the paper. What are you fucking doing? Do you know what I mean? Sod the paper, bro. You can't write bigger capitals on how frustrated you must be.
But you don't know what he gave him in that paper, though. He could have asked him what's his order for Domino Pizza. That could have been like, what you man having for dinner after this? Because obviously the game's done. You know that everyone's just, you don't know. The guy's creative. Remember, you respect the football, bro. You have to respect the football. So we all gather around the football and respect the football.
Oh, and all that bollocks of. Remember when he had all the team like circle around the middle of the pitch? Oh, dude, what you doing?
Hey, that's hilarious.
The pitch? Fuck's sake, man.
You might need to go save Palmer, man. Go save Cole Palmer, man. He needs saving. Go save him, bro.
I mean,
don't save him. You don't want to be saved. Don't save.
I never rated Palmer that highly. I don't think there's no.
You don't rate Palmer? Are you serious? Okay, I think Palmer's bad boy.
Okay, I put it in this aspect, yeah. So, to me, what makes a good player is, and people have said this to me when I was back in Amorim, and I was saying, but everyone, you're all jumping on Amorim, but has anyone actually sat back and gone, well, this team's actually not performing? If you actually watch the game, the team, and I stand by it, I still think the team itself wasn't actually, and I remember Trimless, and it stuck to me. Trimless says to me, he goes, but surely a good enough manager makes that player better. Now, in my opinion, why is no other manager other than, who was there other manager? Before Maresca? I can't remember who it
Oh,
was.
it was the former manager from Thingy, from Brighton,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Graham
Graham
Potter.
Potter.
Graham Potter,
How can he get the best out of Palmer, right? But Maresca can't. Liam Rossignol can't. Why? What makes a great player for me is it doesn't matter who your manager is. With as much as we can all agree, Palmer, the ability on that boy, but
Crazy.
surely, and we say it about Saka as well, or Declan Rice or anyone in Arsenal, we say about them. Surely, with that much ability, where's that tick that goes right? I'm grabbing this by the scruff of his neck. Where was he all season? What has he done all season? Why has two managers come in and not one of them been able to get him going? Why is it when he played for
in Palmer's defense? In Palmer's defense, yeah, and I don't even like Chelsea. In Palmer's defense, because I watch a lot of football. Like I don't just watch Arsenal. I watch a lot of the teams in the Premier League because I just like to see what players do because I'm a football fanatic. If you actually watch a lot of times when Palmer's playing, you say grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Sometimes watch what Palmer does. He wants to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Do you know how many times this guy goes right in front of the centre back to take the ball to try and do so? His first thought is, how do I hurt oppositions? But then he looks around and he's like, what are these men doing, bro? He looks to the left, he sees Garnacho trying to fix his head. He's like, what are these men actually doing? And then he has to pass it. Watch his face, how frustrated he gets when he holds onto the ball. He's just like, what's good? And someone like Palmer, and I think Palmer missed Nicholas Jackson. He really did miss Nicholas Jackson because what Jackson was doing was running.
I agree.
Jackson may not be the greatest player, but he was running. Constantly running, bro. You see what I'm saying? And he gave him an outlet. And when he lost that, that's the reason why if you say Palmer grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, there's only so much neck you can grab when you got players who can't do nothing. Man, are not running. I paused that in advance. Don't worry, I paused that in advance. But he hasn't got runners like that. When he's got every time he takes the football, yeah, I haven't had to say football because I knew he was going to do that. Every time he takes the football, he's always like coming to the past the center half of the circle, which he shouldn't be at because he wants to try and make something happen. But when he's looking around himself, he's like, what is this? When he had Jackson, at least one of the things, if you watch when Jackson was there, as soon as he had the ball, his first thought is, okay, I know my man's going to run down, I'm going to just lick it there. We can all just move forward and I can just bounce off Jackson. As soon as Jackson left, it was like his superpower went. It went, bro. Do you see what I'm saying? And he's the kind of player. He's one of those. He's a magician. He's like he can conjure something out of nothing. He's a special player because he can do stuff like that. He's just in a team that's just not doing it, bro. They're just not at it, and you can see his visual frustration every game. The guy's throwing his hands up like, bro, he's got the ball and he's like, come on, man. And he passes back. Even when he passes back to the centre back, when you're playing football, yeah, and you're mad, and you just pass your player like, oh, just take the ball, man. Just take the fucking ball, bro. Like, you want to walk off the pitch? That's how my man is passing to centre backs. Like, bro, somebody sub me off, bro. I don't want to be here. So he's tried. He's a number 10 that's playing as a 6 just because he wants to try and make something happen. It's hard sometimes to try and take the game by the scruff of the neck when there's one player and you got players who are dud. You got dud players, bro. Do you see what I'm saying? At United, at least you got Cunha who's constantly running. You got Mbeumo who's running. If he took that ball and he see these men run, he would just be licking shots. Him and Fernandes, one left foot, one right foot. Do you know how wild that would be? It would be raining through balls. Pause. It would just be raining. Like, you'd be creating so many open. He's a line breaker. He is the definition of a line breaker. Move that mug off the screen. He's a and I'm glad that Funds agrees with me because I see Funds. You've seen it as well, innit? You've seen what I mean.
What, that Palmer, Mrs. Jackson? Yeah, 100%.
100%. You see it.
You see how he was playing with Jackson, bro. Them two complemented each other. Even there was a time where like them two weren't getting on. It was just a little purple patch, man. Like them two knew, like Jackson knew what Palmer was gonna do, and Palmer knew where Jackson would be. Like, I don't think they like. Sometimes I don't think like players when you connect with someone, I don't even think you work on it like that. It just clicks.
It's natural,
you know
yeah. It just happens.
So I don't think them two even worked on it. I think they just Palmer just knew. Okay, so this okay, cool. And then Jackson's like, oh, so that's how. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I definitely they complement each other, man. Like Jackson in Bayern, that guy's lost. He's around bare
Yeah,
world class players, bro. Like
a
he's lost, bro.
lot.
He's a little fish in a big pond, bro. You get me? And like,
Agreed.
and you see it in his cameos when he comes on, like in the
He
Champions
doesn't know
League
what to
game that I've
do.
seen him playing. He's barely getting any minutes, and even if he is getting minutes, he's not scoring like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's like if Xabi Alonso brings Jackson back and plays Palmer and Jackson together, and
you see something
also we've got
different.
also you got João Pedro there as well. You know what I'm saying? Who could bring that maverick side of things of the squad. I reckon they'll be all right up top anyway. You know what I'm saying? I think they struggled a lot up top than they did in defensively wise. I think
Agreed.
because
Agreed. The stats show it.
João Pedro was doing it on his ones, bro, and obviously Palmer he was struggling. He was going through whatever he's going through. He's not playing well like that. And then you look at the other players around him. You got Garnacho, who's dead as piss. Neto. He's okay, but
Gittins.
he's not that level. Gittins, who I don't even know. I've never even seen him. Like that.
80
And
million, you know.
Is he real,
exactly,
fam? That's what I'm saying. I've never seen him. I've not seen him on the pitch.
exactly, bro. I've never seen him. Tell a lie, I've seen him, but that was against Charlton, bro.
Oh, there you go. 80 million for that, bro.
That was against
And
Charlton,
Jadon
bro.
Sancho had a better season than him. Jadon Sancho did more in Chelsea than Gittins has, and it's 80
Jadon Sancho
million.
scored in the conference final, bro.
Come on, bro. That's crazy.
Gittins has played 16 games in the Premier League, and I've not.
And that's 80 mil for 16 games.
That's
I
crazy,
don't think I've heard his name.
That's
He
crazy.
came from Dortmund, then.
I don't know
Yeah.
where he came from, but like he's played 16 games in the Prem. I've not seen him.
He's got
Exactly.
no goals, no assists. We're
Exactly,
gonna
there you go.
we're gonna move on. We're all agree. We're all a bit on the fence with Maresca.
Yes.
We're gonna move on to Spurs because
Sorry, man. I know you're going to move to Spurs, but I got a bounce. Like, I got early start. I just wanted to just come bless the chat because I wanted to see the man then, bro. Funds, it's good to see you. Obviously, I've been in a lot of this and I haven't actually seen you here, so it's good to see you there. Sam, my boy, good to see you. Obviously, Jams, always. KLS, always. Man, them love, man. You guys are doing great in this podcast, bro. Not going to lie.
Thank you, bro.
One of my favorite podcasts out there, do you know what I'm saying? So, shout out you, man.
And make sure to subscribe. Come on, fam.
I'm already subscribed, nigga.
No, the viewers.
Oh, say less. Man, them love.
Bless up, man.
Be good.
Bless up, man.
Love decent, love.
Man, then we're going to move to Tottenham because actually, quite surprisingly, I don't know if some might take a bit of a dig. I didn't think Spurs would move as quick as they had signing people. They've signed Senesi, Robertson, the link to Savinho, the link to Rashford, and a whole bunch of names. Sam, talk to me. Talk to me about so far Senesi and Robertson.
I'm quite happy, to be honest, with Senesi and Robertson. I think Senesi was very good at Bournemouth. They've had a very good season. Got
that's a mad signing, bro. That's mad.
And to be honest with you, on a free transfer, I think
that's
it's
mad.
class. Robertson, I think he gives us something that we have been lacking in recent years. He has that kind of tenacity and guile, and he's got a bag of experience. He's won everything that you can win in England. He's won the Champions League. He's won, so I think it's a really good signing because we've got a massive amount of youth in this team, and I think what we need to start doing is bringing in that experience that can mold them. I'm not saying that he's going to be perfect and he's going to play every game, but I think him and Udogie on the left then frees up Spence to go and play and challenge to play right back with Porro. So I think it adds squad depth, and I think that's what we need. I think Savinho is, from what I understand, what I've seen on Twitter, is almost wrapped up. It should be announced in the next couple of days. With that one, he hasn't played much for City. Again, it's kind of buying into your players, buying into your manager. He's looked decent in some games. He's looked rubbish in others or non-existent. So hopefully we can get the best out of him. if he does end up coming to us. Again, linked with Rashford. I think after the season he's just had, 28 goals and assists in X amount of games. I think 30 million is an absolute steal if you can get him playing. I'll be so honest. We've been linked with just about everybody: Alex Scott, Belieber, like all these players. And to be honest, I do think they improve us. Not necessarily straight away 100% in the first team, but as squad depth, as players that even if they come off the bench, they still add quality. I think that's what we've been lacking for so many years. Where you've got a midfield of Dembele, Ericsson, and Dele Alli. Then off the bench, you've got Skip and Winks, and it's like they don't bring the same quality. We need to build quality and squad depth, which is what I was saying to you guys earlier about Man United. I think it's a little bit similar. Obviously, we haven't wrapped up Paulinho. I think we want to try and lower the fee, but I think
I
he
was
should
going
come
to
in.
ask, would you sign? Because apparently he doesn't want to go back to Dortmund, Munich. Would you get him?
I'd sign him today, mate. I'll be personally honest. I think he led the
I think
league
he's been
in.
your best player this season.
Well, one of, if not the best player. He leads the league in tackles. He leads the league in, I think, what's the word? Possession gained or whatever. Interceptions is the word I'm looking for. And he scored some really important goals. I think he's got 6 or 7 goals this year. And again, the most important one was against Everton the other week. So for me, I'd sign him. I think he plays for the badge. He works hard. He breaks up play. He's never going to be a glamorous player, but I think he's somebody that we need, somebody that adds that steal in midfield, so that we can allow our other players to go and be creative. Again, we're crying out for creativity. Yes, Maddison and Xavi Simons will hopefully be back fit for next season, but I just think to myself, we've got to keep adding depth. We can't, every year at the moment, there's injuries, 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 and I just think to myself, I can't even see what you're looking at.
It's all you linked to. I'll let you finish, but I want to go through some of the people you linked to, and I want you to tell me if you would or wouldn't.
But like I say, I think we need to build quality squad depth so that if somebody gets injured, the person that comes in is just as good or brings something in a different way that is also going to benefit us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's about keeping our players fit now and building for the future and building for the present. I think not building for the future. I think we've built for the future already with signing Archie Gray, Bergvall, all these young players, this Sousa lad. But really, we need to build for right now because right now we're struggling. You can't finish 17th back to back and not go out there and say, well, actually, we're going to have to change something. Something has to change.
Because who are these learning from? It's a bit like Chelsea. You mentioned Bergvall and Archie Gray and all these Odegaard youngsters. We say about Chelsea, don't we? There's no one there to go back into the locker room and shout at them, tell them what's what. I think that's the same issue with Tottenham in a sense of they've not got someone that's no offense, but you've not got someone that knows not a dominant winner, but just someone
the squad doesn't have a significant kind of senior influence.
Yes.
When Kane was there, Ben Davies is a senior influence. When Kane was there, he was a senior influence. You kind of have lost that, or it's lost in translation now because, you've got Romero, who is a senior influence, but obviously a lot of people, he kind of toes the line with, are people going to listen to him because he's getting sent off and he's doing this and doing that? You've got Mickey van der Ven, but I think the problem is the balance is wrong at the moment, and we need to offset that balance again to make it right. We need to probably have more experience than youth. I remember watching Arsenal as when I was younger, and they used to play the kids in all of these cup games, and then they'd get moaned at because they never won anything or won very little, whereas their balance wasn't right. And I think that's it. That's very similar to us right now. We're not in the position to be picky, but I think we need to be very, very selective of who we sign and make sure that they're actually going to benefit this squad, add quality and depth, and be able to challenge or affect the starting lineup. I think it's absolutely imperative right now that that's what we do.
It's funny you mentioned bringing in people. If you can see my screen, we're gonna go through a list, and I want you to give me yay or nay. Because obviously, I think this is interesting. Because obviously, I think you have to be blind, deaf, and a word I can't say, to not say that Spurs need signing. These are all the players. I'm going to read out. Obviously, I'm not going to read out like Truben, because it's like I doubt many people know who he is. But there's some in there. Obviously, Savinha, I'm sure you take. Paulinho, you obviously would. Carlos Baleba.
Do you know? For me, I think I would take him, but again, I'd be taking him for the fact of we need squad depth, and obviously he worked well under De Zerbi. What my thought process is, we need to build a squad that the manager wants.
Yeah.
I can't keep sitting here and saying, right, you're not building my manager a squad that he's asked for, so how can I blame him? Because he's asking you for a list of players that he thinks will benefit us, and you're saying, right, I can't get you Baleba, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign Hayden Hackney or someone, a young youth from the Championship that's 10 million. And it's like, I want to be able to sit here and say, well, actually, my club did everything they could to support this manager, and actually, he's just got it wrong. I don't want to say that, but obviously, I want to be able to say that the club are doing the right things. So yes, I would take him, especially if we're not going to sign João Paulinho, or if we're going to let, say, Bissouma go, or we're going to let Sarr go, because we are going to need players that come in and do a different job and do that job.
James Tavernier.
Is he the youth from Rangers?
The one from Rangers. The only reason I've said him is pure experience.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think I'd sign him. And the reason I'm saying that is because A, he's 34. Yes, he'll probably be cheap, but he's only ever done it in Scotland. And we've already got Porro and Spence.
Yeah, true.
Like, I don't... And we've got, Byfield, Janae Byfield that can come in and play there. Yes, okay, he's a youth, but I think we have better options, even with the lack of experience.
Yeah. Jean-Paul Van Hecker.
Again, very, very dependent on the fact of if we lose any of our centre-halves. Because personally, for me, I look at it now and say, okay, we've got Senesi, Van der Ven, Romero, Danso, and Vuskovic. We don't know what's going to happen with him.
Yeah.
So that's 5 centre-halves that all... And Dragusian is a 6 centre-half, sorry. I don't think... Unless we sell Dragusian, then we can potentially bring one in. Or unless Romero is going to go, then we bring one in. I would take him, but he wouldn't be somebody that I think is going to start. It would be somebody that I think actually they can do a job, and it's just a little bit of added squad depth.
Yeah. Yeah. Just ever so quickly, would you... I don't word this. After the season you've had, after seeing what Romero and Van der Ven have done this season, and I'm not talking about the good thing, I'm talking about the way they've acted and da-da-da-da-da, would you still keep them at Spurs? Or would you go,
mate.
do you know, is there not a part of you that goes, well, hold on a minute, they've done all this, or yeah, they've had how many red cards, they've been shit, for the potential they have and the ability they have, fuck these off for a minute. Surely there's something in pause. Surely there's something in you that goes, these aren't going to die for the badge.
I don't agree, and I've said this on the pod previously. I do think they would die for the badge. I think, to be honest, after the season that we've had, Van der Ven could have made the decision to have already gone mid-season and said, well, actually, I'm much better than this, and I don't disagree with him. If he'd have made a decision and said, right, I want to go at the end of the season, I'd have understood it, because as much as you play for the badge and the shirt, you're also thinking, well, actually, my career has to come first.
Yeah, you're a
there's
human, bro.
levels
You gotta
to
think
it.
about yourself.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So, for Van der Ven, especially, I look at it and I go, well, he's now sat here and said, well, actually, things are better at the club. De Zerbi's come in and has instilled a level of confidence. I want to stay. That isn't somebody that isn't willing to fight for the badge. You know, Van der Ven has always put his body on the line. Romero has always put his body on the line. And again, the problem with Romero is he toes the line. I do think, and I'm going to say this, I do think that a lot of the decisions for red cards on Romero this year have been harsh. You know, because I've seen worse challenges go unpunished. So is there an agenda against Romero? I believe there is. But for me, I wouldn't want him to go. Every professional footballer that you speak to that's played with him tells you just how good he is, tells you that he's the best defender in the world. They're not just saying that for bants. Do you know what I mean? He has the talent, he has the ability. Can he be a bit rash? Of course he can, but so can others. You know, it's a different game now, but I think he plays on the edge. And I think we spoke earlier about football being watered down. He stands out because he's not a watered down footballer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want either of them to go. I think if we can build a squad with De Zerbi and we build squad depth and we have quality and we have them too, I genuinely think that we can do something next season. We can get back to playing the football we should be playing, that we deserve to be playing, and that we can start to challenge at the right end of the table again. Because we shouldn't be in 17th. With the squad we've got, we shouldn't be in 17th, let alone anything else. You know, again, there's a lot going on at the club that is toxic. There's a lot going on where the decisions, I think, haven't been made correctly. But I think we can't sit here and just blame players. We can't sit here and just blame the club. I think there's a level of everything, of frustration everywhere. And it's very difficult sometimes. I know that, you know, the professional footballers get paid, but I think sometimes when you're in that situation, it's very easy for us that sit at home and watch games to go, oh, well, fuck me, you should be doing this or you should be doing that.
Yeah.
But it's almost having to drag yourself out of that mold or that frustration or that way of thinking, because you're like, well, fucking hell, does this club care about me? You know,
Yeah.
I've seen numerous emails. Shut up. I've seen numerous interviews from Romero, where he's saying, look, the club aren't backing us, and he's right. He's not wrong. The club aren't doing what they should be doing. You know, we've got X amount of injuries. They're not signed anyone in January. Like, just help us out. But
Yeah.
like I say, I would 100% keep them both. You know,
Look,
if they want to go, they want to go. That's their prerogative. But for me, my focus would be to add to our squad, get rid of some of the deadwood that isn't capable of competing at this level or the level that we want to be at, and add who we think can compete.
I'm gonna chuck you one last one before we get onto
Go on.
Liverpool. Manuel Ugarte.
Absolutely fucking not.
Are you not linked with him? Hey, yo,
Yeah.
grab him, man.
Shut your silly mouth.
Bro,
I'm not
grab
taking that
him. Trust
pussy
me,
out.
yo. Listen. He's the best. He's probably the third best, like, side to side player to, like, pass
I'll
the
be
ball
so
side to
honest.
side.
I wouldn't even take him
Yeah.
in my Saturday team, fam. You're all right.
Yeah.
He is 25 mil. That is cheap.
Bro, you don't even have to play him.
Don't
Yeah.
even have to play.
Sam,
Fuck
Sam,
off.
you've just been on about squad depth.
Come on, man. Take
I'll
him,
be
man.
honest with you. I'd
And-
rather
and-
play a you.
And if you got Rashford, it'll unlock Rashford's best
Oh,
ability.
bro, come on.
Oh.
2 United boys linking up again in Tottenham, bro. Come on.
It's written in the stars.
It's written, bro. It's written.
It's
Ugarte and
written.
Rashford. Yeah, come on, man.
If we sign him, I'm karate kicking someone.
Easy 50 mil. Easy for both. 50 mil.
Wait,
Easy.
hold on. Let me do what Trimless would do. Hold on. You wouldn't sign Ugarte, a PSG player, a former PSG player, played next to Mbappe, Neymar, Messi. You're talking about a player that won the French league.
14 times in a row. Do you know what I mean?
Talking about winners, man. Then we're gonna move on to Liverpool, but please consider Ugarte.
No, big up Sam though, bro. Tottenham. Hey, yo, lucky to, probably lucky to escape relegation still. But
I
anyway,
agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. I don't necessarily, and I said this numerous times on the pod. I think if we replace Thomas Frank 10 games earlier than what we did, and we bring in De Zerbi instead of Tudor,
Yeah.
I'll be so totally honest as well. I actually think we stay in the Champions League, and I don't think we're anywhere near relegation. Well, I don't see not anywhere near, but
I can see you in like the middle of the park.
That's what I mean. I think we finished maybe 15th, 14th, 12th, somewhere there. I don't see us flirting with relegation the way we did, But at the end of the day, decisions are decisions. They're made way higher than my fucking wage bracket, and I just get to watch us on a telly. So
I must say, I do feel a bit bad for West Ham. Literally, the last day, like they won their game 3-0. Like they actually put a game in, and like to me, I think that's a bit. Same with when they played West Ham played Arsenal. That Callum Wilson goal was
disallowed.
Disallowed. I was saying that on the pod about should it have been given up, whatnot. I argued yes because not for this reason specifically. Obviously, the Arsenal players was bringing down the player, which made him go over riot. We won't get into discussion. I just think it's so sad that you've got a team that's about to win the league, have a decision like that, and potentially relegate West Ham. I think it's so sad.
Yeah, we spoke about this, didn't we?
Yeah, in that manner as well. But obviously, fuck West Ham. Man, let's talk about Paul. Liverpool, they've just signed Iriola, right? Can he do the job? Because in my opinion, I think him going into the game, I think people are underestimating it more than what it is. You see, I think it's easy to look at Iriola and go, well, what he's done at Brentford, and obviously it'll bring in loads of youngsters, but he's coming into a Liverpool squad that's losing Salah, that's losing Robertson, McAllister's not the same, Van Dijk's getting on, he's just lost Ugarte, he hasn't got a proper right back, let's be honest. He's got Cody Gakpo at the left. I think this is going to be a lot easier, and especially, obviously, I asked the question earlier on about, do you reckon Liverpool will spend as much as they are? To me, I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool come out and go, well, we spent big last year. We spent big last transfer window, and look how that's turned out, so we're not going to do that again.
I think this year will be different because of the new gaffer and that, and obviously how the league went on last season. They have to spend. They've got no choice but to spend. To be honest with you, they should have sat slot earlier. You know what I'm saying? And so the fact that they were able to slap.
I think part of the problem is that the players, we talk about transfers and stuff, right? I think that what they've unfortunately done to themselves is in previous seasons, they've sold and bought, and the net spend has been pretty good. I unfortunately think they're going to have to blow that out of the water now because they could have probably got 80 million for Konate from Real Madrid, but they didn't sell him in January. They waited, and now he's gone on a free. They did the same with Trent. He went on a free. They did the same with a few of these. That Salah is going on a free. So you kind of look at it and go, actually, what they need to replace is going to cost them. If I was Liverpool, I'd be looking at it and going, right, well, that Kang In Lee from PSG, he can do a job. He can play. He's left-footed, I think, so he can play off the right. That's a replacement for Salah because Salah's output last season wasn't great. So you kind of look at it and go, what can I do? I can bring in that Rio lad, and I can play this new lad. Then we've got to sign some midfielders because our midfield is a little bit stale. You know what I mean? We need to replace a centre half. We probably need to replace a left back because right now we've only got Tsimikas and Kirkes, sorry. But again, Kirkes didn't really set the league on fire last year. When everyone expected him to.
No, Tsimikas is on loan, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm sure he is.
It's currently on loan, yeah.
Well, it's the end of the season, so he'd be coming home, wouldn't he? But, that's my thing. And then you look at it and you go, like, even their squad depth for who comes in and plays or who can really set the squad alight, you don't really see a lot of it.
Yeah. And even if you do, it's not great.
It's patchy. Yeah. It's not stable. Do you know what I mean? It's not sustained. It's purple patch shit, purple patch shit. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit hit and miss. So They definitely need to spend, and I do think they've got a good manager. And I think if they choose to back him and give him what he's asking for and what he needs, I think some of them Bournemouth players are really underrated hidden gems that I think
Yeah.
if they decide so, Krupi comes in. He comes in and replaces Salah.
He's
They
been
might
rumored
look
with
at.
Arsenal. He has been.
I know, but everybody is probably going to be linked to Liverpool now because
Yeah,
Iraola's there. Just the way it happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
You could probably
Alex
look at
Scott.
them and go. You could probably go and look at Alex Scott. You could probably go and look at Thiago.
Truffert.
Even then, all of these players. You look at some of these players and you think, well, actually, yeah, okay, Liverpool's a big step up, but under this manager, he knows how to get the best out of them.
yeah.
Will that then get the best out of the squad? You never really know.
Mind
But
you, you say that, but Kirkus came from Bournemouth and he's been panned.
well, that's what I mean. But again, Kirkes was managed by Slot. He wasn't managed by Iriola. Iriola comes in, you might see a different side to Kirkes.
Yeah, true.
He might decide to play a back five because Kirkes is probably a better left wing back than he is a better left back.
Yeah.
It's one of them. It's all about systems and how they suit the player. I said this to you earlier. It's really dependent. Kirkes might need an arm around him, and that might not be Slot's tactic. Whereas Iriola comes in and knows him and goes, "Oh, big boy, Milo, do you know what I mean? Come on, you're playing with me now." Blah blah. He starts to build a little bit of confidence. Football is a confidence game. You're doing really well. You're like, "Oh yeah, fuck, I can do anything. I can take on the world." Then you start to miss a couple of chances, or you make a couple of mistakes if you're defending or whatever. Then you're like, "Oh shit, now the word's on my back, and
Yeah,
now
then
I've got to
boom, you
do
don't score
something."
again.
It's hard. So
Pause.
it's not pause. But yeah, for me, I just think they've got to back Iriola if they're bringing him in like this. He's obviously got a bit. He's been linked everywhere for the last 2 or 3 seasons, even when Bournemouth weren't doing great. Now he's delivered them European football, and he's finally got his chance to manage in the upper echelon of the Prem. You're looking at it and going, well, let's see what you're about.
No, I agree with what you said. Yeah.
Do we think they bounce back and become the Liverpool they once were? Or do you think it's going to be a slow, progressive? Because to me, when you actually look at the Liverpool squad, I think it's not an easy job for him to go and do. And do you know what worries me about it? Not it worries me, but you know what I mean? That for Liverpool especially, and no one picks up on this. I don't know anyone talk these dry spouts he goes on. Earlier this season, he went 16 games without a win. Like, you can't do that at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because the second the fans turn on you, you're done.
Even with the games that he went unbeaten, there was quite a few amount of draws there,
Yeah. 100%.
So,
It's
but obviously, that will be a part. But you could also say that it's the players that he had in it, and they're not that quality.
I think the problem is that Klopp's squad won everything there was to win, but even then, squads get stale.
Yeah.
So then he came in. They were on the back of whatever. He inherited Klopp's squad. They did really well, won the league. Then Salah's in a decline. Trent's left. That means that you're not going to get 15 assists this year. So you need to replace him. They bought Frimpong in, and he hasn't really hit the ground running. Left back wise, Andy Robertson, he probably wasn't to the capacity of what he was when they were winning things. So they bought Kirkes in, hasn't hit the ground running. Isaac, that was 20 goals guaranteed a year at Newcastle, hasn't hit the ground running at Liverpool. So, Gakpo, who scored, 15 goals last year, only got 5 this year. So, these are all factors. You've lost probably 30 goals out of all them players, and you haven't replaced them. So you're naturally not going to be doing the same thing that you did when you were winning titles. So it's kind of difficult. I don't think they're going to just 100% come back and start challenging for the title again immediately. But I think that the fact is we're going to have to wait and see how backed the manager is and how he can get them performing. Because again, we could sit here and say Iriola, great manager, he's done well everywhere he's been, blah blah blah. But these players might not buy into his style. They might not buy into his coach. They might not,
Yeah.
And then that's when player power comes in. Oh well, I don't really need to perform. We get paid anyway.
I tell you what, you saying that. Do you know that reminds me of Unai Emery? Won everything. Won how many Europa Leagues? He's done it. He's done it with Aston Villa.
5 out of 6 Europa Leagues. I don't know if you know the only team.
Leagues.
The only team he didn't do it with.
Arsenal.
Yeah, correct.
Dark.
And
but go on.
And he's won 5 out of 6 Europa Leagues, and every team that he's won it with has got Villa in its name.
Yeah, Villarreal, Sevilla. Yeah.
Mad that, innit?
That's crazy.
Come on, fam. You know me. I watch football.
Yeah,
You know?
okay, come on now. But what? But again, it's like Unai Emery. Like, he's done a fantastic job. Like, I mean, stupid, but obviously people at some point were saying Villa on title charge, this and that. Got him into Champions League, won the Europa League with them, and remember they couldn't sign anyone because of PSR.
Yeah.
So they're of the list of injuries they've had as well. But then obviously he didn't do it at PSG, couldn't do it at Arsenal. He can't do it at the big boys. Could that be a theme with Iriola? Because obviously he got him into Europa League, fantastic, and he's kept Bournemouth as a steady team. But so does Emery. But then you put him at big teams, and he doesn't do it.
To be honest with you, I think you're being a little bit harsh to Emery in terms of when he was at Arsenal. I think that Arsenal then was a very different team, whereas now they spend. They didn't really spend under Emery, and they didn't really give him what he needed to succeed. However, of course, there's always the potential that Iriola could fail at Liverpool. He could be, again, small fish in a big pond now. Whereas at Bournemouth, he was big fish in a little pond, and they bought into him. So 100%, that could always be the case. It could be the case that Carrick flops this year or Maresca flops this year. It doesn't matter how many years you've had in the business or whether you're big fish, little fish, or whatever. It matters the club you're at and how much they buy into you. The players buy into you. You know, if they don't buy into your style, they're not going to try and implement it on the pitch. Then you look a knob. Then it's on you. It's your problem because you've either got to get rid of them or the club gets rid of you.
Yeah.
Or you've got to change their mindset or whatever. So there's a load to it.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, that is. Do you know what? Do you know what? Yeah, get him up.
Yeah,
in fact, you know what? Yeah. Because he couldn't make it for this one, for the last Project Prem of season 1, we're gonna bring him back. Trimless, you've made an appearance. You've made an appearance. We're thinking about you, mate. We're thinking about you, Mandem. We're gonna draw it at a line because we'll be going on for 2 hours and 42 minutes. Obviously, luckily enough, I've been given the signal I can go nuts. Pause. But obviously, Mandem, it's emotional. This is the last Project Prem until the next season starts. I think before we end the stream, I think there's congratulations and not rewards, but just appreciation for people. Like, shout out Funds, been here since day one. Shout out Arbe, finally making his debut. Sam, that's here, talking about Spurs when they're in that worst position they've been in their entire career, probably in the 20th century. I'm not too sure about that. Probably fact check me. Shout out Trimless, the host, obviously does what he can when he comes on. The founder, what started all of this. We got to shout out Surfer and his mum for making an appearance earlier on today.
Big up, love it.
We got to shout out Rems for one of the highlight clips where me and him were going back and forth. We got to shout out people like Big C, one of the pioneers. We got to shout out Jams, who's here when no one else is. We got to shout out Omizi, who, when we talk about is Kane the best striker in the world, and Bruno Fernandes, he's here to back me up. Mandem, there's a lot of us. Callum, who's new. We talk about more Arsenal that's going to start coming on pause. Oh, come on. I'll do so well.
Jesus Christ.
But he should be making appearances soon. Mandem, I want to appreciate everyone that jumps on this pod because this is a dream Mandem, we're going to the fucking moon. Going to the fucking moon. Arsene Wenger once said, Bonjour, je m'appelle Arsene. That's all I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Mandem, Mandem, we're going to end the stream. Thank you all for appearing on. And Mandem, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next season. Does anyone want to say anything before I end it?
Listen, yeah, Project Prem might be ending until next season, but look out for Project World Cup because that'll be coming. You know it will. Yeah, let's
lit.
lock in for Project World Cup. We'll be back.
Lit.
We'll be about
That's
it.
gonna be lit. That's gonna be very lit.
Mandem, lock in or get a pair of bolt cutters. Have a blessed week.